Sir, good morning.
Sir, good morning.
Sir, good morning.
Morning, Gopal. Good morning. Very good to see Dil Naren Mahanti also. Sir, how was the breakout group that day? You muted, sir. You muted. Sir, you're muted. How did you get to know? Say sound. Hello. Hello. Dr. Gopal, this is your email photograph? Hello. Dil Mahanti, sir, am I audible? Can you hear me? But you speak, you've not put on the speaker. I can't hear you. Praditya, welcome your video. Hello.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning. Your video.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. Good
am I-
morning.
good morning. Good morning.
Good. You're looking very fresh.
Yeah, just had my bath.
Very good. Breakfast?
Acha,
Breakfast?
one thing I have just, it was confirmed by Professor Gopal Naik.
Uh,
First is, I will request him for the floral tributes to Paul Harris.
you were requesting. After I've said webinar call to
Yeah,
order,
after you give me the charge.
no,
After-
Paul Harris would come earlier. That's what we discussed that day. Na? You see, initially
Huh,
at 11 o'clock,
yeah,
the DG has assured that he'll be on the screen by 10:55.
okay.
So once he's there at 11 o'clock, I say webinar call to order. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning, namaskar, webinar call to order.
Okay.
Then I'll request Professor Naik, Professor Gopal to kindly play on the national anthem, and I'll
Yes.
request the audience to kindly stand,
Yeah.
settle down. After they've
Yes.
settled down, then I'll request again Professor Gopal Naik for floral tributes to Paul Harris.
Acha.
That
Okay,
he will do. Having done that, then I come to my welcome speech.
Okay.
I will my welcome talk, and at the end, I'll say, now I hand over to our master of the ceremony, past President Pradeep Panigrahi, to take us ahead.
Right.
I'll finish there.
Then I will request Professor Naik to welcome our governor and guests with flower bouquets.
No, that is done. That I am already, okay, once I finish my welcome, with this, I
I'm
am
confused because just now Professor Gopal Naik told me about this. But okay, whenever you say that you are going to
because that day, because I have included that my speech talk after I have welcomed everybody.
yeah.
Then I say, with this, may I now request our past President Dr. Gopal Naik to present the bouquet virtually to our esteemed chief guest.
Yeah.
District Governor Sri Somaranjan Mishra.
Okay.
And having done that, followed by a bouquet each to our keynote speakers. And they
No, sir,
are
each. So don't say each. I will show it once. So I will not show it several times, the same thing again and again.
so I
You
just
say-
read out the names,
No, you say, let us welcome our DG and the
keynote speakers.
the speakers and other guests with a flower
Okay.
bouquet.
Okay.
Okay.
So you just show it once, then I'll take their name. And then Panigrahi Babu, I'll take your name. That now I hand over to our master of the ceremony, past President Pradeep Panigrahi, to take us ahead.
Okay.
And
Then
then-
I'll start it. Then I'll start introducing one by one.
Introduction of the DG.
Yes, DG.
Yeah. And then we request him for his, what do you call it?
Address.
The talk,
His address.
inaugural address. Request him for his inaugural address.
Okay.
Lata Madam, good morning. Not audible.
Badal Babu, welcome.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning. All set for the day. I can see the Ormas. So this must be Badal Mahanti.
After the inaugural address, then
Yes.
I introducing all the three speakers.
Nay,
Attendant.
after inaugural address of the chief guest, then it is the webinar theme by Dr. Gopal Naik.
Okay.
And then you introduce the resource persons, that is all three of them, one after another. And then you request Mr. G. Regu to take on his talk.
Yeah.
Once he finishes, then the next one. And the housekeeping rules you have to spell out.
Yeah.
There will be two things, na? I confirm from Gopal Babu, only two things, na?
Yes. Let
Everyone to keep muted unless
All should go muted, and
Yeah.
all questions may be sent to the chat box.
chat
Yeah.
box.
That's it. And time constraints, it won't be good to tell.
No, you can tell. The program has been sent to them, so they also know. It's not like they don't know. They know. So say we'll try to start on time and finish on time. So therefore, request every speaker to stick to their time limit.
The kado satilla. Sorry.
Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
I made a mistake. The steam for inhalation protect. I
Lata madam, I think you require little light. Your face is dark.
No, the power went away. It has come now.
Okay. Am I visible? Is my face clear? Am I visible? Okay.
Actually, it's running on DC. There is no power. So when the power usage crosses a certain limit, automatically it trips. Then it comes once again. And I also would like to give an assurance. If Panigrahi sir, in case there is any technical glitch or anything, immediately I am ready to take over. No
Okay.
hazards. No problem.
Okay, thank you.
I'm prepared for it.
Sir, namaskar.
Sir, Dilip sir, good morning. Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir,
All the best, Lataji, Gopal Babu, both.
Namaskar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
And we'll
Thank
have
you,
a
sir.
participation, I believe. I have circulated a lot. Let's see.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you. Sir.
The speakers are coming, na?
Yes, sir. One of them is already there in the screen.
Yeah.
Gopal Babu.
ପାଣିଗ୍ରାହୀ ବାବୁ ଆଜି ଆପଣଙ୍କ ପର୍ସନାଲିଟି ଟା ଆଉ ଟିକେ ପଢି ଯାଇଛି ଚଷମାଟା ପିନ୍ଧିକିରି। General Mahanti, namaskar.
Sir, your sound. Tell Mahanti sir, your audio.
Audio ଟା ଏଇନା audio ଚାଲୁଥାଉ ଆରମ୍ଭ କଲେ ବନ୍ଦ କରିଦବା ଆଉ।
I was asking him how was the breakout group experience, so his audio is not working to share with.
ନାଇଁ ସେଦିନ we had a good time, sir. ଭଲ ଲାଗିଲା।
Good, very good, sir.
ମାନେ ଟିକେ personal interaction ଏତେ ବି club level ରେ ହଉନଥିଲା। କାରଣ ସମସ୍ତ ଏତେ ଲୋକଙ୍କ ଭିତରେ।
Yes, sir. This is at the cost of taxing little bit more to Dr. Gopal.
Dr. Gopal, yes, we understand.
ଭଲ ଜିନିଷ sir.
ଗାଡିଟା ତଳ ପଛପଛ କରିବ।
This is, you got a shirt or got it printed on this, sir?
No, sir, it embroidery ହେଇଛି sir, ଏଇଟା by the courtesy of our governor.
Okay, very good, sir. Very good. That's very good. Very thoughtful action.
ହଁ ସେ ଏମିତିଆ ଗୋଟେ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣର ମାନେ ଯିଏ ଶ୍ରଦ୍ଧାରେ ଦଉଛନ୍ତି ସାର୍ ପିନ୍ଧି ଦଉଛୁ ଆଉ। ସାର୍ ଆପଣ ବି ଗୋଟେ ଦେଲେ ପିନ୍ଧିବୁ।
Yes, sir. Let me look.
ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟଞ୍ଜନ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ଆମ ପ୍ରେସିଡେଣ୍ଟ ରମେଶ ବାବୁ।
ଆଜ୍ଞା। So let me look for the embroidery guys to open their shop.
Do you hear me now?
Sir,
Yeah, yes.
Kalamisa, do you hear me now?
Yes.
yes.
Okay, thank you.
It is 11 o'clock. Is it 11 o'clock?
Yeah.
The timing of the seminar?
Yeah.
It is 11 o'clock, no?
Yeah.
Okay.
It started 11.
Lataji, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, Pati Babu, good morning. Nice to see you.
Same here.
Now this is the time I have given for the district, everybody to come in, join in. Let's see.
Mute. Mute, non-mute.
Madhu, namaskar. Bhalo achen to?
এই লাইটটা লগাই দাও তଳର ପ୍ରଥମଟା ନାଇଁ ହେଇନି ଆସୁଛନ୍ତି ତମେ ଆସୁନ ଏଠି ମୁହଁ ଦେଖିଲି ନମସ୍କାର କରିଦେଇକିରି ଆଚ୍ଛା
Okay, namaskar.
Sunil madam, good morning.
Good morning, sir. And all the best for the seminar.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
ମୁଁ ଲତା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ ଗୋପାଳଙ୍କୁ କହିଦେଲିଣି ଲତା ମ୍ୟାଡାମକୁ କହିଦେଇଛି ଭନାକ୍କମ୍ ଆଜି ବଢିଆ ହବ
Sir, namaskar, sir.
ନମସ୍କାର ବାବୁ ଆରେ ଏସକେ ସାର୍ ବହୁତ ଦିନ ପରେ ଦେଖୁଛୁ ଆମେ
All the best to our president, sir.
Thank you.
Sir?
एसकेएस सर म्यूट करो अनम्यूट करंतु
हाँ एसके सर अनम्यूट करना है
Good morning, Surya sir. Good morning.
गुड मॉर्निंग
मॉर्निंग
Okay, namaskar.
नमस्कार
Namaskar, sir.
PDG ଦିଲ୍ଲୀପ ବାବୁ
ଆଜ୍ଞା
ଆପଣ ଲତା ମ୍ୟାଡାମ କୁ ଅଣା କମ କହିବାଟା ଠିକ ନାହିଁ
କାହିଁକି
ଟଙ୍କାକୁ 16 ଅଣା ଅଣାଟେ କମ କାହିଁ କରୁଛନ୍ତି
ଅଣା କମ ନାହିଁ ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ କଣ
ଭନାକ୍କମ୍ ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ବି ଜୁହାର ଆଜ୍ଞା ନମସ୍କାର ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆପଣ ବରହମପୁର ଲୋକ ଆଜ୍ଞା ଆପଣଙ୍କୁ ସେଇ ଭାଷାରେ କହିବାକୁ ପଡିବ ନା
ହଁ ହଁ
Rajashri Patnaik has come. Welcome, madam, from New Horizon.
हाँ प्रश्न था सर
Dilip sir, I had requested DG to be on the screen by 10:55,
Okay, okay.
and he had assured. He said
Yeah.
yes,
He will be coming. He will come.
because our webinar call to order will be done once he is there.
Yeah, yeah.
हाँ
Hello, namaskar, namaskar.
Sir, good morning. Nimesh sir, good morning.
गुड मॉर्निंग टू एवरीवन या आज तो हमर
Good
अछि
morning, good
स्किल
morning.
डेवलपमेंट पर अछि किंतु स्किल एप्लीकेशन ऊपर आज सकाळे मिस्टर नवीन शर्मा उठ पठैथिले व्हाट्सएप रे पठैथिले आई थिंक समस्त देखिथिबे स्किल एप्लीकेशन ऊपर दैट इज अ लवली 2 minutes or 3 minutes video and practical application particularly kitchen re bahar re rasta re just every day we face that problem. That is a beautiful one, skill application.
Good, good,
Okay.
good.
I said that's a very appropriately put that in this thing today's.
You can share that with us. Send
No, it is
across.
there. It is there in our. It is there with our this thing.
Group, metro group.
Rotary Metro. It is there.
Mr. Raghu has joined. Let me welcome him.
Okay. You join?
He has joined. DTET is a,
Okay, okay.
I think the office, this thing.
Good morning.
Yeah, morning,
Good
morning, sir.
morning, good
Come,
morning.
come. So two of our speakers have joined, Mr.
Okay,
Raghu and Mr. Badal Mahanti.
Okay, very good.
Abhinav will join in 5 minutes time. I
Oh, okay.
just now.
Okay, no problem.
Very well,
Good,
very well.
good, good.
Sudarshan, can I ask you how many PDGs are coming in?
One doesn't know, sir. Everybody has been requested.
Okay.
All have been requested. But there will be PDGs from outside our district also.
Yes.
Okay.
And I had put it in the PP forum. A large number of people are coming. Individually, I have also requested some of here. So there will be good attendance.
Very nice, sir. Very nice.
Padil sir, आपको वो add कर देगी.
இப்ப மாத்தலாமா? இருக்கு.
So that you can switch when that goes.
Switch பண்ணா திருப்பி log பண்ணு.
Our joint secretary has joined.
Good morning, everyone. Namaskar.
Namaskar.
Namaskar, namaskar.
Namaskar. Good morning.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Baldeva Babu, namaskar. Welcome. Mangilal Babu.
And Pankaj Reda. Photo.
Rekha Madam, namaskar. Babu. Kushum, Good.
हाँ सर नमस्कार
Namaskar.
नमस्कार
Namaskar.
आज्ञा
Namaskar.
आज्ञा
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
आज्ञा सर ना
नमस्कार
देखिबा
मैडम
टिके आमे कोन करि परिबा रोटरी तरफरु
Agya.
कैरियर प्रोस्पेक्ट्स कोन को देई परिबा सेति भाई मु जॉइन करली आज्ञा
थैंक यू मैम थैंक यू वेरी मच थैंक यू फॉर जॉइनिंग
सर
Harsh, welcome. अरे तुम यहाँ कहाँ?
वेलकम हर्ष।
थैंक यू सो मच। अरे दिलीप भाई मैं वहाँ जा रहा हूँ, खाली पूछना है वहाँ हिंदी में बोलूँ ना इंग्लिश में बोलूँ?
Combined language. Combined. जाओ all the best.
राष्ट्रभाषा में बोलो।
भाई गुड मॉर्निंग
Good morning and all the best, Gopal bhai and everybody.
Thank you. I hope you're there. I hope you're there with us now.
No, he's going to
I am there for a little bit. I have to go to Meerut. I am going to Meerut right now.
Right. Okay, all the best.
All the best. Sir.
Right.
You will do your best, I know.
Thank you.
RLI will.
Thank you, sir.
Good.
Thank you.
Jivananda Babu, namaskar. Welcome.
जीवनानंद बाबू नमस्कार। तुम इंटरनेट ऑफ कर दीजिए, ऑन कर दो इंटरनेट।
Hello, Minister. Good morning. Welcome.
हमें स्टार्ट करेगा इंटरनेट ऑन कर दिया करता ना, टाइम लगी होगी।
I think I'll ring up DG sir. I just spoke to Mr. Somaranjan, Mr. DG, he's joining.
Okay, good.
Dilip sir, once he joins, we'll start.
I think so. We are already around 30 now.
Yes, sir. Once he joins, then we'll start.
Yeah, the seminar chairman is there, sir. It is
No, sir,
and the president
really, sir, as a mark of respect, and in fact, the keynote speakers have also joined in.
Yeah.
And the DG is there, so we'll begin, sir.
Yeah.
There may be also some audience who will be watching it through YouTube, sir.
And maybe joining bit late also, sir. It is overlapping. बहुत बड़ा रह जाऊँ तो.
Again.
Abhinav, welcome.
A very good morning, sir. Thank you.
Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Professor Naik. I just joined.
Good morning. Welcome, sir. Welcome.
Sunanda madam, namaskar. Welcome.
सर नमस्कार
नमस्कार
सर नमस्ते
नमस्कार
सर आरएलआई ट्रेनिंग में राउरकेला आए थे आप?
हाँ अरे बाप रे हाँ
सर आई एम अर्चना महंती फ्रॉम रोटरी क्लब ऑफ राउरकेला स्टील सिटी।
Oh, welcome.
Archana madam, welcome. Good morning. Welcome.
थैंक यू सर। सर आप आरएलआई पार्ट 1 पार्ट 2 हम लोग का राउरकेला में करवा के गए थे।
हाँ पार्ट 3 भी करवा देंगे अभी जल्दी.
जरूर जरूर सर, थैंक यू.
Thank you so much.
दिल्ली बाबू गुड मॉर्निंग.
Good morning sir. Good morning शिव बाबू. सर ये देखो तो पीडीजी आसीवा लागी वालेनी.
Sir, good morning. Good
Led
morning,
by
sir.
President sir, good morning.
Sir, good morning. How are you, sir?
Thank you.
Good to see you, sir. Good to see you.
Yes, thank you.
Sir, good morning to all of you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Sib bhai, good morning. Dilip sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Ravi Babu, good morning. Thank you so much. Very good.
এই তব কথা না পকৌଥିଲି মতে পছন্দ শার্টটা কিଏ ଦେଲା ମୁଁ କହିଲି ସାର୍ ଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ତ ଗଭର୍ଣ୍ଣର ପିନ୍ଧୁଛି ସାର୍ ଆଉ ଯିଏ ଶ୍ରଦ୍ଧାରେ ଦେବ ପିନ୍ଧିବୁ
କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମ ଦୁର୍ଭାଗ୍ୟ ଆମେ ପାଇନୁ.
ସାର୍ କାଇଁ ଆପଣ ନଥିଲେ ବୋଧେ ସାର୍
ସେମିତି କଣ କଥା ଅଛି? ଆମେ କେତେବେଳେ ଦିଆହବ ଆମେ ଜାଣିଲେ ରହିଥାନ୍ତୁ. ହେଲା ଠିକ ଅଛି.
ସାର୍ ଶୋଇଲା ପୁଅର ଭାଗ ନାହିଁ.
ଠିକ ହେଲା. କିଏ ମେଞ୍ଚେ ପାଉଛି କିଏ କେଞ୍ଚେ ପାଉଛି.
ନାଇଁ ମିଳିବ
ହଉ ମିଳୁ. ଏଇ ବର୍ଷ ମିଳିବ ତ?
Sure sir.
ହଉ.
Sir, a versa is till 30th June or 31st December. Which one are you asking?
Abhinav, I have made you a co-host. You can present from your side. Okay.
Okay. Now it's time. Okay. Good morning. Namaskar to all of you. Webinar is called to order. Now, may I request our past President Dr. Gopal Naik to kindly play on the national anthem. And ladies and gentlemen, please stand.
Jana Gana Mana Adhinayaka Jaya He Bharata Bhagya Vidhata Punjab Sindh Gujarat Maratha Dravida Utkala Vanga Vindhya Himachala Yamuna Ganga Ujjala Jaladhi Taranga तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगल दायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Now, I'll request Dr. Gopal to kindly carry out the floral tribute to Paul Harris. That's good. Thank you so much. Good morning. Namaskar. Jai Jagannath. To all our esteemed guest speakers this morning and the smiling Rotarians of Rotary International District 3262, wherein the leader, our district governor, Mr. Soumyaranjan Mishra, the most smiling, and the graceful First Lady of the district, Madam Sarita Mishra, all our superb and affectionate Council of Governors, the entire smiling President's fraternity, the cheerful and graceful Rotarians of our district, and all the honored guests, the Rotarians from outside the district. I, on behalf of the Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Metro, welcome each one of you to this seminar virtually organized by us this morning. We are grateful to our revered district governor for his kind consent to be the chief guest for the seminar. So we welcome our dynamic, versatile, and most well-composed District Governor, Sri Soumyaranjan Mishra for the event. I am also privileged to welcome all our distinguished Council of Governors who have spared their valuable time to be part of this seminar. I am lucky to welcome all our keynote speakers for the webinar this morning. And ladies and gentlemen, they are Mr. G. Regu, Indian Administrative Service, who is the Director of Technical Education and Training of Government of Odisha. Also, we have the second speaker, Mr. Badal Mahanti, who is the Chief Executive Officer of ORMAS. Badal sir, you may be happy to know, coincidentally, I and some more Rotarians may be present here, had an opportunity of exposure to your setup as outsourced faculties to teach your supervisory staff twice. Now, I also welcome Sri Abhinav Madanji, who is the Managing Director of Gram Tarang. I take this opportunity to welcome all my Rotarian brothers and sisters of our superb Rotary district who, having set aside their Sunday relaxation schedule, have joined us for this seminar. I also welcome all the Rotarians outside the district on our invitation have joined this program, and they're going to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, all of us are going to benefit from this seminar in a big way and immensely, because we can disseminate the procedure to the potential candidates of our respective area for getting into the skill development training. And finally, I'll also welcome the other office bearers of our Rotary district, the media persons, and the support staff for this webinar of our district being hosted by our club. With this, may now request Dr. Gopal to kindly present a bouquet virtually to our esteemed chief guest and other keynote speakers. Dr. Gopal, please. To our district governor, Sri Soumyaranjan Mishra, and to our keynote speakers, Mr. G. Regu, IAS, Mr. Badal Mahanti, the CEO of ORMAS, and Mr. Abhinav Madanji, MD Gram Tarang. With this, ladies and gentlemen, I hand over to our master of the ceremony this morning, past President Pradeep Panigrahi, to take us ahead in the event. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bande Utkal Janani.
Good morning, President, and good morning, everybody. And now, this is the time for us to give flower bouquets to all our guests. And now I would be requesting all of you to just give your audience. Now we'll be introducing all our chief guests as well as our esteemed guest speakers. First of all, while introducing our governor, the smiling governor Soumyaranjan Mishra. Mr. Soumyaranjan Mishra was born to freedom fighter and well-known labor lawyer, late Satyavadi Mishra and Srimati Bimla Mishra. Rotarian Soumyaranjan Mishra is an advocate by profession in the High Court of Odisha. He specializes in mercantile, taxation, and labor law. He joined Rotary in the year 2000. He was the Charter Secretary of Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Confluence. He was the recipient of Outstanding President's Award in 2010-11, Significant Achievement Award 2010-11 from RA President Ray King Smith, Citation for Meritorious Services Award in 2016-17 from the Rotary Foundation, Service Above Self Award in the year 2018 and 19. He is a regular contributor to the Rotary Foundation. He is a benefactor and a major donor level 1. He is the secretary of Saraswati Sishu Vidya Mandir at College Square, Cuttack. He is happily married to Rotarian Sarita Mishra, past president and major donor. Their son Ankit is an engineer serving in High Radius Technologies, Hyderabad, and his daughter Ashmi studying in class 9 in DPS Kalinga. This is our smiling governor, Soumyaranjan Mishra. Now, may I request our governor to give his inaugural address to all the viewers over here.
Thank you.
Governor
Thank you, Pradeep
Soumyaranjan
Babu.
Mishra.
Thank you, past President Pradeep Panigai, for introducing in a beautiful manner. And I congratulate
audio problem.
my smiling President Sudarshan Bhai for organizing this
So I will, what I will
seminar.
do is, I will ask Badal to speak, and then I will ask Abhinav to speak. Maybe
So
we
really-
can do in the last. So meanwhile, you can try on the mobile phone also. There is no problem. You can download the Zoom app and you can do it.
Gopal, please go muted. Gopal, mute yourself.
Sure, thank you. It's really a need-based program for all of our Rotarians, because Rotary is a part of economic and community development process of our nation. And out of 7 focus area, this is the major area which we are having for doing good to the world. And I recognize the presence of PDG Dilip Patnaik, PDG Subhabrata Das over here from the Council of Governors, and my smiling Rotarians across the district, other dignitaries, guest speaker, who is G. Raghu, IAS, Director TT, and Dr. Badal Mahanti, and Abhinav Madan. Definitely we'll listen from them. They are the resource person on this particular subject. Friends, first is Shakhyar Bharat to Shikshit Bharat is definitely a journey for us. And after Shikshit Bharat, we are one step ahead for Kaushal Bharat and Kushal Bharat. So Skill India is now a theme for all of us, and we need to do for the betterment of our society. Especially skilling in the digital space has assumed greater importance today. I urged Rotary to take bigger initiative in the sector to help enhance digital literacy and skill in our youth, prepare them for the future. Rotary International, Rotary launches a skill development program for widow, single mother, and their unmarried daughters. This has been launched by the Rotary India Literacy Mission last year. For this, we have formulated a special committee called the Project Dignity. And through this committee, we have already started work by sending 13 unemployed youth to take training from Apollo Group, and after getting trained, they will get employment also in medical sectors. Friends, women will be skilled in trades like geriatric care, child care, beautician, tailoring, customer relations for hotels, restaurants, malls, etc. And Rotary will also help these women to get job or start vocations. By this way, Rotary made its role in an effective way for making India become Shakhyam Bharat. and my best wishes to Rotary Club Bhubaneswar Metro and the smiling team of Metro for organizing such a beautiful event for the club, not only for the club, for all of our district. And definitely we get recharge by hearing from the resource person as selected by you. And I am here also to train, to educate myself one step ahead. Thank you very much. Thank you. Good wishes.
Thank you, Governor.
Now seminar is open, and please go ahead.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for your reminder. Now I will request to speak about the webinar, please. Professor Gopal Naik.
Gopal babu, unmute karantu.
P.K. Panigrahi, please take over.
Panigrahi, take over.
It's Pradeep Panigrahi there.
Yes, he's there.
Hello.
Okay, I think he may be having some problem. Maybe we can ask Lata Madam to do the MC job for the while. Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It's my great pleasure and proud privilege to introduce our key resource persons of this webinar. First of all, I would like to our keynote speaker, Mr. G. Regu, who is in the Indian Administrative Service. Hailing from God's own country, Kerala, Mr. Raghu is a qualified mechanical engineer from College of Engineering, Trivandrum. He has done his MBA from the Institute of Rural Management, Anand, popularly known as IRMA. He got into the Indian Administrative Service in 2011, joined the Orissa cadre, and has served as a district collector in Kandhamal and Kendrapada. At present, he is the director of Directorate of Technical Education and Training called DTET, which is an education and training body in Orissa dealing with education at technical institutes, colleges, diploma, and the ITIs. DTET also vocational education in order to prepare the youth for self-employment. Mr. Regu is part of the Skilled in Orissa and branding. It's a very significant step on the part of the government to make Orissa the skill capital of the country and change the general perception about the workforce trained in Orissa. I will continue the introduction with the another speaker of this webinar, Dr. Badal Manti. An officer of the Orissa Administrative Service 2000 batch, Dr. Badal Manti graduated from OUAT Bhubaneswar. After completing his post-graduation from Acharya N.G. Ranga Agriculture University, Hyderabad, he obtained PhD from G.B. Pant University of Agriculture and Technology, Pantnagar at Uttaranchal. He started his career as deputy collector in the state government and has played many roles such as Tahsildar, BDO, district emergency officer, election officer, excise superintendent, and district social welfare officer. Currently, he is working as additional CEO in Orissa Livelihood Mission and ORMAS. He is steering DDU GKY skill program. This skill program is National Rural Livelihood Mission, popularly known as NRLM, tasked with the dual objectives of adding diversity to the incomes of rural poor families and cater to the career aspirations of the rural youth. The scheme is also uniquely focused on rural youth from poor families. It's a part of the Skill India campaign. Orissa is one of the leading implementing states of DDU GKY program. Dr. Manti is providing able leadership in successful implementation of the program. The third speaker of this webinar is Mr. Abhinav Madan. Mr. Abhinav Madan received his education from some of the most prestigious institutions in the country, that is graduation from St. Stephen's College, New Delhi, MBA from Xavier Institute of Management, Bhubaneswar, specializing in finance and quantitative research. He worked for more than 6 years in multinational companies such as General Electric and Hewlett-Packard. For past 11 years, he has been with Gram Tarang Employability Training Services Private Limited. As the co-founder and CEO of the company, he has made an enormous contribution towards shaping the mission, vision, and values of the organization, translating them into strategic and operational plans for sustainable growth. Since inception in 2009, Gram Tarang has trained over 300,000 youth at its 36 centers across 12 states, employing over 800 people, and has maintained a strong track record of placement of youth into jobs. With a strong industry partner base of over 100 leading companies spreading over wide spectrum in the corporate sector, his organization has received several awards, citations, recognitions, and accolades at the international level that includes the UN and the World Bank. It's such a pleasure talking about our key 3 speakers of this webinar. Now, I invite our speaker, Mr. G. Reddy. Over to.
Thank you, ma'am, for the very kind introduction of all the speakers joining today. Thank you to all the esteemed members of Rotary Metro and Rotary joining all over Odisha. It's a pleasure to be here, and grateful to Professor Naik, who has been following up with us over the last 2-3 weeks. He has been coordinating this event very closely with all of us and has told us the importance of the event. Thank you all for joining. Welcome to my fellow panelists. As I could understand from what Professor Naik briefed me, the session is about what skilling activities have been done in the state of Odisha and what we are doing differently from the rest of the country, and why we need a brand called Skilled in Odisha. So I am part of that brand. We all are under the Skill Development and Technical Education Department, Government of Odisha, and the Odisha Skill Development Authority, which is headed by, as you all know, Mr. Subroto Bagchi. So I had the long-term skilling part. So from the introduction, I could see that most of you were thinking about the skilling part. Like we train students in short-term skilling, like train them for being electricians, for plumbers, train them for being carpenters, train them for being welders. This is the short-term skilling part that most of us were speaking about, the DDU, GKY and all that. And there are a number of all the other eminent panelists joining today are very, very well versed with those programs. But mostly I deal with the long-term skilling part. And the long-term skilling part, incidentally, has not been in the center of attraction for quite so many years. When we talk of us as a group, most of us joining today are from the elite, the cream of society. So most of us do not have much idea about the ITIs and the polytechnics, because obviously our sons and daughters do not go to an ITI or a polytechnic. So when we talk about the education of students, mostly our students, our sons and daughters go to engineering colleges, medical colleges, law universities, and humanities colleges, good colleges. So ITIs and polytechnics have never featured mostly in our attention. Even when Chief Magistrate, we didn't know much about the ITIs and polytechnics, even though they existed right around. But having said that, these institutions have always played a great role through the history of our country. They have been providing skilled workforce, all our industries, all our productivity, the roads, the bridges, the factories that we see all around us have been mostly due to these diploma engineers and to the ITI graduates. But it is just that it has escaped our attention. But over the last 4 years, there has been a sustained campaign to bring them back to the limelight, to actually make us all aware of the great importance of these institutions. So today it is my job as a part of this brand, Odisha brand, to take you through many of IT and polytechnics, and to tell you a brief story of how we have tried to actually bring them back to focus. So what have we done? That is a bit difficult from what other states are doing. So what we have done is the branding for the new ITA system. As you all know, we now have a brand. We have a brand logo, and under which we all unite. We engage with high quality employers, and we have strategy for admissions in the ITIs, and we have coordination with some of the best quality industrialists in the country. So what about our campuses? Usually ITIs and polytechnics, the campuses have, as I told you, have been away from public limelight. But nowadays the campuses that we build are clean and green campuses with their own building code and with their own set of facilities. So what are the facilities that we offer? We offer them the best of facilities, including smart classrooms. So if you get a chance to visit any ITI nearby, you will notice that they have smart classrooms, they have smart workshops. There are a lot of industry partnerships. So industry partnerships in the sense, what we mean is we have partnerships with top quality organizations like Maruti, with Schneider, with Honda, and with many other companies which provide the best of facilities for the students studying in the ITIs. Other than that, we also give the students an opportunity to study through digital contents of curriculum. So sitting at home on their mobile also they can learn, or while coming to class, they can learn using these digital contents. So these are the physical things that we have done. And more important than that, as you all know, the students that come to ITIs and polytechnics are mostly first generation learners. So what is the profile of the parents whose children come to these institutions? Most of them are farmers, small time shop owners. They might be working as, let's say, daily wage laborers. Many of them, yes. Many of them come from very humble backgrounds. Many of them have sisters and brothers to support at home. So what is the ambition that drives a student to get into an ITI or a polytechnic? So after 10th, you complete 2 years of education, you get into a job. After 10th, you complete 3 years of polytechnic education, you get into a job. So that job gives you that leeway to support your siblings, to support your parents. So a student coming from an affluent background, he can afford to put in 4 years of graduation, then he can put in 2 years of post-graduation, maybe even go for a PhD. But for these students who come to the ITIs and the polytechnics, the first and the most important priority is for them to land a job or to become an entrepreneur. That's also a very good option that nowadays students are taking up. But as what I was trying to say is that the earning potential is what they are looking at. And ITIs and polytechnics are one of the best institutions in this regard. Even in these pandemic times, when, as you all know, engineering colleges and all have been facing a problem with placing their students. And I'm saying about the lower run engineering college, not the higher run. When they are facing problems in placing their students, most of our ITIs and polytechnics have been able to place their students. I'm not saying this is because we have done something absolutely wonderful, but this is also a reflection of the fact that this is the kind of workforce that India now needs. India now needs a workforce which can actually put in good work in the factories, on the brick sites, on the construction sites, and people who can actually put their work to use immediately. So that way, most of the students come here for that kind of a learning. So we have been providing them with that kind of a avenue. So earlier there used to be no event at the state level. Polytechnics and ITIs, they had, like for schools, you had a state level school youth festival, state level arts festival, sports festival, you had all that. But ITIs and polytechnics didn't have that. So from the last 2 to 3 years, we have introduced them to sports and culture events. So they have district level meets, regional meets, culminating in a state level event which happens in the Kalinga Stadium and happens in the best of auditoriums in the state capital. The students all come here and they compete against each other. So this is something which increases their confidence. Next thing, as you all know, most of these students come from Odia medium. Straight away they had to jump to an English curriculum because our ITI and Polytechnic curriculum all over the country, the books that are available, the material that are available are mostly in English. You can imagine the difficulty faced by an Odia medium student straight away coming to a technical area and having to learn about, like, for instance, in you might be learning resistance, you might be learning voltage in your vernacular language, but when you come to the ITI, you have to learn it in English. So that kind of a bridge is very difficult to cross. Earlier, we had something called employability skill training in ITIs. So what we have done in Odisha is we have tied up with a national level agency. It's a very famous agency called Tata Sky, which provides life skills training to all our students in the ITIs. So what does Tata Sky do? First, we brush up on the communication skills, the soft skills of the students. We make them more confident, help them to speak in public, we help them to compete in placement interviews, and all these kinds of activities. So something which students have found very useful and something which is unique to Odisha, this kind of life skills training. Next, so having spoken about the facilities that we provide, the next question comes. So most of them come from very financially poor background. So how does a student meet his or her expenses? ITIs are at the district level mostly. Most of the students come from their themselves. So we have a lot of programs. We have the SCT scholarship which is available to all the SCT students, and then we have the Prerna scholarship, which is the SCT scholarship. Building and other construction workers. So you see a lot of building activity going on around us. The cess that goes from these activities goes to a fund called the Building and Other Construction Workers Welfare Fund. A lot of our students are actually sons and daughters of building workers, plumbers, carpenters. So when the building worker's son or daughter comes to the ITI or the Polytechnic, he gets a scholarship which is met from that particular fund. That fund is there. You have merit-based scholarships. Then you have a particular scholarship called Sudhakhya, which is a one-of-a-kind scholarship which is given only in Odisha. Sudhakhya means, as you all know in Odia, Sudhakhya means skill. So the Sudhakhya scholarship is offered only for girl students. So now the question might rise, everywhere we know we are all promoting participation of women in labor workforce. You might be surprised to know that all over India, the participation of girls in ITIs is a measly 4 to 5%. In trades like fitter, welder, carpenter, turner, all male-dominated trades. But in Odisha, the percentage of girls in such trades is 13 to 14%. So Odia girls are actually more willing to come forward and engage in trades which actually require physical strength, which are actually the domain of only male workers. Now, more and more Odia girls are coming and joining welding. You would be surprised to know that in an ITI in Hariyar, in Nuapada, out of a class of 30 students in welding, 15 of them are girls. Around half the classroom is completely girls. And once when I went to visit this particular ITI, I found that most of them are like very small girls. Like they are like just 10th pass out girls. But the kind of determination that they had, and one girl told me that since her father is already engaged in the business of fabrication workshop, she would like to graduate in welding and then carry forward that business. So girls all over now, there are a lot of aspirations. It's not like the earlier times. You must have heard the story of 3 girls in Bhubaneswar during the lockdown time. Some of you must have read in the newspaper that 3 girls in Bhubaneswar, they voluntarily took up welding. And in the sense that when they are looking for a job, kind man offered them jobs in welding. And all 3 of them jumped at the opportunity and took up welding, and now they are one of the best welders in his shop. We contacted all 3 of them and we asked them to come and join us in the welding trade so that they can get a professional certification also. Then I don't know about their capabilities. They don't need the training even. But the professional certification certainly helped them to move forward in their career. So that is the story that I would like to say. So why Sudhakhya? Coming to that part. Sudhakhya is a scholarship meant for girls, and the entire tuition fees, hostel stipend, even the uniform worth 3,000 rupees in a year, the shoes, the safety equipment, the monthly stipend to meet their expenses, hostel stipend, all of that is gone out of that particular fund. And there is no categorization. SC, ST, OBC, general category, below poverty line, there is no categorization. Any girl who wants to study in a government ITI in Odisha is entitled to that particular scholarship. So, after that scholarship was introduced, we have seen an increase in the participation of girls in our ITIs. Now it stands at around 18%. Our goal, as stated by our Honorable Chairman, is to reach 33%. Like, we want 1/3 of our graduates to be girls from ITIs, but we are now at 18%. I'm hopeful that with the kind of participation that we are seeing from girls, we'll reach that target very soon. So many of our girls are doing very well actually. I mean, many of them are working in OPTCL, and you'll be like surprised to know that they are like working on that 132/33 towers and all. They climb those towers, they attend to the problems. So it's a very interesting story if you closely watch it. So that is regarding the scholarship part. So what I meant to say is that even students coming from impoverished backgrounds, if they have the will to learn, we have the facilities for them, and we have hostels in all our ITIs except 5. In all 49 ITIs except 5, we have ladies hostels. In all those 5 remaining the hostels, it is under various stages of construction, so that girls can come, stay in the hostels, and learn. Why do we need hostels? As you know, in Odisha, in certain districts, there is a pressure on girls to get married off. So if they come to the ITI and stay in the hostels and complete their education, there is a greater chance of them being able to complete their education and being able to get a job. So a hostel is also a very important part of our strategy. We have hostels in almost all our ITIs now in Odisha. Now I would like to bring to your attention a very special, which very few people might be not knowing about. This is next door to the IIT in Bhubaneswar. So some of the IIT professors know about this ITI. This is called Special ITI for the persons with disabilities. It is in Jatni, next door to the IIT campus. So this is an ITI which is students with disabilities more than 60%. So one would ask, what can a person with more than 60% disability do on a shop floor? How will he or she be able to work? So what happens is that there are students who are hearing impaired. They can do all kinds of work. They can do fitting, they can do plumbing, they can do carpentry, they can do welding, all kinds of works they can do. What about people with visual impairment? They can do computer applications. So there are specially designed computers, as you all know, reading software, JAWS, and all that is there. So they can do computer applications. So for visually impaired students, we have this computer applications class. For locomotor impaired students who have problems with movement, especially girls, we have courses in tailoring and dressmaking. So they can learn those courses. We have the best of equipments in those in that particular ITI. All our classrooms are 100% accessible for these students. You have these markers for visually impaired students. You have railings. All those classrooms are accessible. Even the hostels are completely accessible, and the mess is also completely accessible. But the fact is that even with all these facilities and free training being provided, we are struggling to fill up the seats in those ITIs, maybe because it takes some time for society also to recognize that even children with more than 60% disability can learn these traits from ITIs and be employed. And one more thing is that from the part of the employer itself, there's a bit of a reputation. There's a bit of a concern regarding how we can employ these students. So employment, the placement figures are not that hopeful. We are appealing to all the industries through many of you who might be industry leaders that please make a visit to this particular ITI and try to find avenues so that these young bright girls and students can find employment in your industrial concerns. I'm sure they will do very well. They are all very well-trained students and make a good opportunity for you. Right. So what else we have been doing? So these are the special ITIs that I have been So now let me come to the activities that we have done during the COVID. So during the COVID time, we have done a lot of innovations. We built robot for hospital applications. We built a lot of automatic hand sanitation, UV sanitization. Two of our ITIs have even applied for the patent and has been recognized by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, now called the Ministry of Education. So during the COVID times, they were engaged in a lot of activities, and appreciations have flowed in right from our Honorable Chief Minister to the Union Minister for Skill Development and from the Ministry of HRD. So they have all been appreciated by these institutions. So placements also, when we speak about placements, the final test of any training is one placement. How many students we have been able to place? So I would like to say proudly that even during this pandemic time, we have been able to place around 700, now it's around 800 for ITIs and polytechnics, even during this pandemic time. So they have got employment in other. So that's also going on. Major thing which attracts our students. Recently, the government of India did a grading of ITIs. And this grading, and in this particular grading, 11 institutions from Odisha have figured in the top 100, out of which 7 are from the government sector and 4 are from the private sector. So this is also a very great achievement as far as Odisha is concerned, that 11 of our institutions figure in the top 100. I am sure more of them will figure. The entire ranking is not yet out. As of now, we have 11 in the top 100. So let's come to the polytechnics. Polytechnics have always been considered the younger brother of engineering colleges, but you have equally bright students coming to the polytechnics as well, and they are equally prized for their role in the sites. So many civil engineers, many mechanical engineers, their role in the construction sites, their role in the project sites are very important. So many of our polytechnic graduates are employed there. So apart from the academic activities and all, we have, I would like to bring your attention to a very special polytechnic in Cuttack called the Biju Patnaik Film and Television Institute of Odisha. Some of you might be knowing about that. That particular polytechnic offers courses in cinematography, TV editing, sound editing, and this is the only government institution in Odisha which offers courses in the field of media, films, and in media. So this particular institution offers courses, 3-year courses, and the course fees is 26,000 for outside state students and 23,000 for Odisha students. One of the lowest, I should say. And most of our graduates are now employed in media houses. Many of them have gone on to become good names in Bollywood as well, and some of them have also won national awards. So this is also a very good polytechnic in Cuttack, based in Cuttack now. You could draw the attention of many of your acquaintances to this particular polytechnic. So broadly, this was we have polytechnics in all 30 districts, and in Cuttack, in places like Cuttack, we have 2 polytechnics. So students from even the interior areas can come and learn in these polytechnics. So we have ladies and boys hostels in all the institutions. Quite well, and right now the admissions are going on. Yeah, that's very important. Right now the polytechnic admissions are going on. The IT admissions are also going on now. The IT admissions are almost over, but there are some seats, vacant seats in many ITIs in all across Odisha. So those seats, admissions, almost 90% of our seats are filled up now, and the polytechnic admissions are also going on right now. So if you have if you know bright young boys and girls in your locality who have the passion to get into technical training, please refer them to the nearest. If you know about young students who are doing their 9th class, 10th class, and like to have a technical education, please bring them to the nearest ITI or the polytechnic so that they can at least get to know what are the facilities offered and what are the prospects of that education. Our ITI principal and polytechnic principal should be only too happy to counsel them regarding the facilities. And we are open. We are open, especially we encourage girl students to come and visit our ITIs and polytechnics. Our doors are always open. Only during this COVID time, there are a bit of restrictions for the visit. But once those restrictions are over, they are always welcome. We always welcome our students to come there and learn about our learn about the facilities that we offer there. So to this elite group of Rotarians, I would only make a earnest appeal that if you know about institutions, if you know about students, if you know one particular point I just forgot to mention, we have a number of students who are coming from childcare institutions also. Why childcare institutions? As you all know, childcare institutions house children who are in need of care and protection. Children in so these children, mostly since they come from even more disadvantaged households, their need for an employment is paramount. So many of them come to join our ITIs and polytechnics in the hope of getting a good placement or of becoming self-employed. And many of them have stood on their feet now after their education. So if you know good students hailing from CCIs, from other schools, from your locality who are interested in taking up technical education, please contact me. You're free to contact me. I'll share my number. Please contact the nearest ITI or the polytechnic. So next year, students who are studying right now in 9th or 10th standard, they can take up admissions in the next year. So this is my appeal to all of you. There are eminent panelists who will speak about the short-term skilling and of the other skilling activities that take place in their college. I'm looking forward to hear from them. And thank you all for the opportunity once again. And thank you, Professor Naik, for giving me this opportunity to address this August gathering. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful and very well talked about the policies and the guidelines. So we may have some question answers at the end, sir, after both the speakers spoken. We'll have question answers a little later. Okay. Having said that, I'll request the audience to kindly remain muted unless you're speaking. And any questions should you have on all the three speakers, kindly put it in the chat box so that we will collect it and the question answers will be taken on. Thank you. Now we will move on to the next speaker. May I request Dr. Badal Mahanti to kindly come online.
Thank you, sir. Honorable Rotarians, esteemed President, District Governor, respected Professor Gopal Naik, sir, respected Director Equity, Mr. Abhinav Madan, MD Gramtarang, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for giving this opportunity to share our program with you. In Odisha, just I will share one presentation. At Ormas, we are steering this DDU-GKY program, a skill program. We have also OSDA and the major skill activity doing in the state. And this is a program done at Ormas. Here we picked up the students from the rural belt, the rural youth of 18 to 35 years age. And they are maybe 8th pass, 10th pass, or 12th like this, maybe few graduates. And the mindset, we have to change their mindset to give them a placement through this training program. This is just placement linked training program. We used to visit the villages. We used to visit their houses. Our community cadres are there. They used to motivate these candidates that you have some opportunities like the placement inside the state, outside the state, and also abroad in hospitality, health sector, in construction, apparel, design, so many trades are there. So as per their convenience, and when we used to talk with them, then they are choosing this, from which sector they will attend. We used to speak to their parents, motivate their parents. We used to have a counseling camp at the Gram Panchayat level, at the block level. Then from there, we used to pick up them for this training program. Then we have more than 50 partners, the project implementing agencies, who is to skill them, inculcate their soft skills and the domain where they will do work, and they will also invite the employers, what the employers need, what the industry need. And this is these are training classes, and this is more the all are the residential. They need not to pay a single pie from their pocket. Even we used to give them the travel allowance to pick up from their home to these training centers. These are the training centers, mostly are the practical based and few are the soft skill based. Then this is the our placement sites. Pan India, we used to place them. Also to retain them, we are giving them some incentives of 1,000 or 2,000 rupees per 6 months. We have their programs. They are at the ski work stations. They so that they will return for more period. This year, our candidates, who are at the skill in the place sites at the healthcare and other sectors. We used to pick up the students from all the districts, because we have the community cadre of all in all the states and districts, all the blocks at the so the CRPZ, they are community resource persons, so that it is easier for us to touch the individual household. And mostly we used to place them in the inside state, also across the states. And also few where we used to send them in construction site to Gulf countries. Recently, we have also planned to send them to European countries. We have that's why we have a already a MOU with the EIF, European Indian Foundation for Excellence, so that they, and also with the World Skills Russia, so that they will be trained. These people will be trained on that line and got a job in European countries. And these are the few studies as we have been asked to give some studies of experiences. So I'm sharing. It is one of the fellows, Satyam Patra from Jagatsinghpur. Mostly these people are from the impoverished families on a very weak financial background. And he has just passed 10th during his academic, and we picked up them. He convinced and came to our training center as to train as a CNC machine operative and trade. And now he is doing job in Rajasthan Honda Car India and getting 23,000 per month. It is also he's doing that for more than 4 years. He is there. Sir, is PPT visible?
PPT is visible.
Yeah, it's visible.
Okay, okay, sir.
Yes, visible.
So then one person should pick up from Moirvanch, that is Tankadhar Mahanta. He is working as an assistant store manager in Hyderabad mini HO as a Japanese designer brand, and he's getting 20,000 per month, and he's doing a job for more than 2 years. She's one from Mamta Martha from Khorda, and she's doing in job in Mantra.com Bangalore and as a warehouse officer, and getting a salary of 17,000 per month. Another is also from Puri, Kalpana Jena, and she is doing a job at Bhubaneswar. In Bhubaneswar also, if somebody is doing here in within Odisha, we used to give them 1,000 as incentive for 3 months, and if you're going outside for 1,000 for 6 months, we are giving, so that they will retain there, so that the livelihood will be sustained. And she is getting 16,000 per month, already completed 4 years. And another is from Balangir, Odisha, Sima Baria. And she has just intermediate first as doing as a job in customer care executive as in call center, getting 10,000 per month. And he has completed more than 1 year. So the thing is here that not to give them a job, but also how they will be there, how the attrition rate will be less, how they will sustain there, because the culture is different when they are going different state. So to make these places homely, what we have planned, we have opened a few migration support centers. That is the local guardian. Also, we have the work of these migration support centers are, they will understand the difficulties what they are facing. They will guide them to teach the local languages, to know about to give guidance to know about their cities, the health care. They used to do the classes, means motivational classes, so that these candidates, they are going outside, they will stay there, they will do job there, and they will think that this is Odisha. And in all, we have this migration support center at Bangalore, we have at Tirupur, we have Hyderabad, we have at New Delhi, also the Bhubaneswar. And this is very friendly to them, so that these people, these candidates are staying there for more period, and they are not coming back. And when they are we need that the block level counseling camp. These candidates, they are our brand ambassadors. They are celebrities in these gram panchayats and blocks. They used to motivate the other candidates of these areas where they belong, so that they used to come to this program, so that without skill they won't get any job. So they are our celebrities in those areas. I have some live stories. I have what we have received a few during this period. We have some story. Just I want to say here.
Myself, Piyush Kumar. My father name is Pramod Kumar, and I am from Odisha, Bargarh district, Badampur block, Chirungapalli. I remember year of 2016 when I was in village. At that time, I was doing nothing, and suddenly I got to know about BDU GKY by Ormas, and I came to Bhubaneswar, and I got 2 months of training there in BDU GKY by Ormas. And after I finished my 2 months of training, I got job in Bangalore in company of Softstock. It's been from 4 years I am doing job, and now I am very happy today about my job. And I would like to thank to Ormas for their opportunity to make my career success. My current designation is SCCA and SC. It means Senior Customer Care Associate and Senior Cashier. And my current salary is 20,000. So thank you so much, Ormas, once again for everything.
मैं बीकॉम किया हूँ 2018 में कंप्लीट किया, और उसके बाद मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा था कि मैं क्या करूँ आगे। तो एक दिन मैं सुना कि ब्लॉक में कोई कैंप होने वाला है की तरफ से, तो मैं वहाँ पर गए। वहाँ जाके मैंने देखा कि बहुत सारे ट्रेड आए थे, वहाँ पर बहुत सारे कंपनी आए थे यहाँ पर, जो मुझे पसंद लगा वहाँ पर मैं फॉर्म अप्लाई किया। उसके बाद फॉर्म अप्लाई करने के बाद मैं घर आ गया। उसके बाद 2 दिन के बाद मुझे फोन आया कि तुम सिलेक्ट हो गए हो, तुम आ सकते हो और एडमिशन करा सकते हो। तो मैंने वहाँ पर गया तो मुझे अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा लगा, इसमें कॉल सेंटर बोलते हैं उसे। तो मैं वहाँ पर एडमिशन किया। एडमिशन करके 3 महीने के लिए ट्रेनिंग किया। यहाँ पर मैं सब पूछना, तो मैं नोटबुक, ड्रेस और खाना पीना ये सब फ्री वाला 3 महीने कंप्लीट कर दिया। उसके बाद हमारा प्लेसमेंट हुआ वडोदरा होटल सेंटर। तो हम आए घर में कॉलेज, तभी हमारा लॉकडाउन स्टार्ट हो गया तो हम नहीं जा पाए। तभी कंपनी की तरफ से फोन आया कि वर्क फ्रॉम होम भी कर सकते हो। तो हमने सोचा कि ये भी अच्छा मौका है, वर्क फ्रॉम होम भी करेंगे, घर में रहेंगे और पैसा और काम भी कर सकते। तो हमने वहाँ पर आ गए दिया, तो वहाँ पर सारे जो सिस्टम है वहाँ पर हमें भेज दिया। तो हम वहीं से लॉग इन करते हैं और हम ऐसे काम करते हैं। हाँ, और मैं उन्हें भी धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ हमारे ब्लॉग एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन और एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को, इसकी वजह से मैं यहाँ पर आज पहुंचा। नहीं तो मैं बेकार में घूमता था दोस्तों के साथ, कोई काम नहीं था। अभी मैं काम करके पैसा कमाऊंगा। ମୁଁ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ ପରେ ମତେ କିଛି ମୁଁ ଜବ୍ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଖୋଜିଲି ତ ମତେ କିଛି ଜବ୍ ମିଳୁନଥିଲା, କାହିଁକି ମୁଁ ସ୍କିଲ୍ ନଥିଲି। ତ ନେକ୍ସଟ ମତେ DDU-GKY ପଟିଆ ବ୍ରାଞ୍ଚରେ ସେଫ୍ ଏଜୁକେଟ୍, ସେଠି ଆସିକି ମୁଁ 3 monthsର ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ନେଲି, ଯୋଉଟାକି ମୁଁ ରିଟେଲ ସେକ୍ଟରରେ ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ନେଇଥିଲି। ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ପରେ DDU-GKY ମତେ ପ୍ଲେସମେଣ୍ଟ ଦେଇଥିଲା, ଯୋଉ ପ୍ଲେସମେଣ୍ଟରେ କି ମୁଁ ଏବେ ବିଗ୍ ବଜାର ନୟାପଲ୍ଲୀ ବିଗ୍ ବଜାର ଫ୍ୟୁଚର ରିଟେଲ ଲିମିଟେଡରେ ଏବେ ଜବ୍ କରୁଛି। ତ ମୁଁ ଏବେ ବହୁତ ଖୁସି ଅଛି କି ମୋ ସାଲାରୀ ଏବେ 14,000 ପ୍ଲସ୍ ରହୁଛି। ଏବେ ମୋ ଘରେ ମୋ ଫ୍ୟାମିଲି ଆମେ ଏବେ ବହୁତ ଖୁସିରେ ଅଛୁ। ସେଫ୍ ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ୍ ମତେ ଏକ ନୂଆ ରାହା ଦେଇପାରିଛି କି ଯୋଉ ରାହାରେ ମୁଁ ଲାଇଫ ଟାଇମ୍ ପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଏଇଠି ଏଷ୍ଟାବ୍ଲିଶ ହେବା ପାଇଁ ଚାହୁଁଛି ଏଇ ରିଟେଲ ସେକ୍ଟରରେ। ଦେନ୍ ମୁଁ ଆକୁ ମୋ ଫ୍ୟୁଚର ବହୁତ ଗ୍ରୋଥ କରିବ। ଆଜିକା ଡେଟରେ ଆପଣ ଦେଖନ୍ତୁ ରିଟେଲ ସେକ୍ଟର ଯେମିତି ଗ୍ରୋଥ କରୁଛି, ତ ଫ୍ୟୁଚର ନିହାତି ଆମର ଭଲ ହବ। ତ ଏତିକି କହିବି। Thank you, DDU-GKY.
Hi everyone, my name is Asma Tiwari. I am from Future Odisha. मैं बर्डन से बिलोंग करती हूँ और मैंने +2 किया हुआ है। +2 के बाद मैंने ITI किया है। ITI के बाद मैंने ITI 2019 में कंप्लीट किया। उसके बाद मेरे पास कोई अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं थी, मैंने फ्यूचर DDU-GKY को ज्वाइन किया। ज्वाइन करने के बाद मेरे 6 महीने की ट्रेनिंग थी। मैंने 6 month की ट्रेनिंग यहाँ से की। ट्रेनिंग लेने के बाद अपॉर्चुनिटी फर्स्ट मेरी थी बैंगलोर में क्लासिक प्लेसमेंट आया था। मैंने वहाँ पे इंटरव्यू दिया। वहाँ इंटरव्यू देने के बाद मैं सिलेक्ट हुई। अभी मैं 1.4 सॉल्यूशन प्राइवेट कस्टमर सर्विस है और मेरी सैलरी 12,000 रुपीज। CTC में मेरी 16,000 है एंड 12,300 है। मैं बहुत खुश हूँ इस चीज़ से बिकॉज मैं अभी अपने खुद के पैर पे खड़ी हूँ और मेरे पेरेंट्स भी बहुत सपोर्टिव थे और वहाँ के टीचर्स भी बहुत सपोर्टिव थे। मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा और मैं सबको सजेस्ट करूँगी कि जिसे मीन्स पढ़ने के लिए आगे जिस चाहते हैं कि मैं अपने खुद के पैर पे खड़ी रहूँ, वो DDU-GKY को आके ज्वाइन करें और अपना फ्यूचर अच्छा क्राइम करें। थैंक यू सो मच।
ମୋ ବାପା ଜଣେ ଚାଷୀ, ମୋ ମା ଜଣେ ହାଉସୱାଇଫ୍। ମୁଁ ଚାନ୍ଦବାଲି କଲେଜରେ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ କମ୍ପ୍ଲିଟ୍ କରିକିନା ତାପରେ ପଟିଆ ଷ୍ଟାର ସିଟିରେ DDU-GKY ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ନେଉଥିଲି। ୱାୟାର ହାଉସ୍ ଅପରେଟର କୋର୍ସ କରୁଥିଲି। ତାପରେ HP ସର୍ଭିସ ସେଣ୍ଟର ଯୋଉଟା ସିସ୍ନେଟ୍ ଗ୍ଲୋବାଲ ଅଛି ଆମର, ସେଇଥିରେ ମୁଁ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ପ୍ଲେସମେଣ୍ଟ ହେଇଥିଲି DDU-GKY ତରଫରୁ। ତାପରେ ମୁଁ ଗତି ଇଣ୍ଡଷ୍ଟ୍ରି ଏକ୍ସପ୍ରେସ୍ ପ୍ରାଇଭେଟ ଲିମିଟେଡରେ ଜବ୍ କଲି। ଗତିର ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଆଉ ୱାୟାର ହାଉସ୍ ଯୋଉ ଆମର DDU-GKYର ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ଥିଲା, ତାହାର ବି ଯୋଉ ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଥିଲା ସେଇଟା ମୋତେ ଯୋଉ ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଓୟୋରେ ଜବ୍ କରୁଛି ସେଥିରେ ମୋର କାମ ଦେଲା। ଏବେ ମୁଁ ଓୟୋରେ ଜବ୍ କରୁଛି ଆଜି QAT କ୍ୱାଲିଟି ଅଡିଟର ଆଣ୍ଡ ଟ୍ରେନର। ସେଠି ମୋତେ 18,000 ଟଙ୍କା ସାଲାରୀ ମିଳୁଛି। ମୁଁ ତ ଫାର୍ଷ୍ଟ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ନେଇଥିଲି ମୁଁ ଭାବି ବି ନଥିଲି କି ଏତେ ଜଲ୍ଦି ଏତେ ବାଟ ଆଗରେ ପହଞ୍ଚିବି। ବଟ୍ ଏବେ ନିଜର ଟ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ ପ୍ଲସ୍ ଯୋଉ ଟିଚର ମାନଙ୍କର ଯୋଉ ଥିଲା ଏକ୍ସପିରିଏନ୍ସ ଥିଲା, ସେ ଯୋଉ ସବୁ ମୋତେ ସେୟାର କରିଥିଲେ ଆଉ ସେ ଯୋଉ ଗାଇଡାନ୍ସ, ସେଥିପାଇଁ ମୁଁ ଆଜି ଏତିକି ବାଟ ପହଞ୍ଚି ପାରିଛି। ଏବେ ମୁଁ ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ସଜେଷ୍ଟ କରିବି କି ଏଠି ଆସି ଟ୍ରେନିଂ ନିଅନ୍ତୁ, ନିଜର ଯୋଉ ଟ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ ଅଛି ସେଇଟାକୁ ଟିକେ ପୁଶ୍ କରନ୍ତୁ। ଆଉ ଏଠି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ଅପରଚୁନିଟି ଅଛି। ତ ନିଜ ଟ୍ୟାଲେଣ୍ଟ ଥିଲେ ଏଠି ବହୁତ ଗୁଡ଼ାଏ ଅପରଚୁନିଟିକୁ ଯୋଉଟାକି ଅଛି ସେଇଟା ଆପଣ ଆଚିଭ୍ କରିପାରିବେ।
So this is the few life stories with what we have received during this COVID 2 to 3 months, within 3 months, and also to encourage this our candidates, our rural youth. We always insist our partners, our employers, so that if it is possible on their part to please take them through air. When they are joining new. So these are the few photos that during COVID they have taken by through air also, so that they will be motivated that they are going, these candidates are going through air. So these are the few studies what I have been asked, and thank you the team Rotarian for inviting me and to give this presentation. Thank you, Professor Gopal Naik sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Badal, for your wonderful stories that you narrated about the real type life success stories. We would have some questions, but a little later after Mr. Madan finishes his talk. Can we now request Abhinav Madan to kindly take on his subject? Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Very good afternoon to all of you. Very good afternoon from, first of all, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to present our model to such an august gathering, to find so many senior people who've obviously done so much in Odisha and for Odisha. I think if we start going through individual histories, I will be very humbled with the kind of work that we've done. But thank you especially to my two very dear professors, Professor Lata Ravindran and Professor Gopal Naik, who kind of called me for this particular event. So both the panelists, a very good afternoon to you as well. It was really great to hear from you. We work very closely with Government of Odisha, and our work spans across both technical education, ITIs, as well as short-term skilling. So what I thought was, I will take this opportunity to give you a little bit more of background as to what is the problem that we went about trying to address, and the model that we've adopted in trying to address these problems. So maybe I'll start with, I'll take you through a presentation that we have. So the company that I head is called Gram Tarang, and it's incubated by Centurion University, right, which is now, of course, a state university of Odisha, also a skills university, and a NAC A-grade university. We have, well, my first journey into rural was really in Odisha. I'm a city boy. I was born and brought up in Bombay, Bangalore, Delhi. I did my education there. I came to Bhubaneswar for my post-graduation, spent 7 years in the corporate world, very much caught up in the whole corporate rat race of trying to, build your career and grow. I was in Europe for a couple of years. But at some point, a bug bit me. Something told me that, what you're doing with your life is not really what you were meant to do. And probably there was some karmic linkage with Odisha that I got in touch with two of my professors through one of my seniors from XIM, and two of my professors being Professor Mukti Mishra and Professor D.N. Rao. So in 2005, they had left XIM and they'd taken over an engineering college in Parlakamundi called JITM. And that time it was one of the most extremist affected districts, Gajpati district. And they were doing some very inspiring work already. They had taken over the college. They were running the engineering program. They launched an MBA college, but they'd also gotten into technical education and vocational education. So back in 2006, they set up an ITI in Parlakamundi, which was kind of odd, for a educational group, higher education to get into vocational training was really was unheard of. They also partnered with CTTC way back in 2006, the tool room of Bhubaneswar, to start a course for machine operators. You saw one of the case studies, our own student who went on to join Honda and earning 30,000 rupees. He is a CNC operator who was trained at our Parlakamundi campus. So that campus became, it's something that they believed as a model, that an educational institute should not just be focused on higher education. Anyway, the number of +2 graduates from Gajpati are so few, right? Especially +2 science. If the educational institute does not give back to the local community, and this is probably something that, is the DNA of XIMB as well, as evident from the work that Lata ma'am and Gopal sir have been doing, and the work Sendrit has been doing in the past. So they very much carried that forward into the Centurion group. The logo, interestingly, of Gram Tarang has been designed by PGPRM students of 2005 batch. So that was the genesis really of the idea. And I joined them in 2008-09. My first visit to rural Odisha was in Parlakamundi, and I was inspired by the work already being done. And I was very clear that, I will immediately quit my job and decided to move to Odisha. Now, the model that we've taken up and adopted, and that's what I'm going to try to summarize in the next 15 minutes or so, is that of integrating industry, academia, government, and social entrepreneurship, right? And the sector in general is what we call TVET, Technical Vocational Education and Training. So it spans across short-term skilling as well as long-term skilling. And it's that integrated model that we've seen is what really is the need of the country at the moment. We've specifically chosen the girls that we've trained on our main slide. Whenever we introduce our corporate brochure, the girl on the left is a student of ours who went through the Cafe Coffee Day program. I met her incidentally at Chandigarh airport. I got out of the plane and suddenly I see this girl running up to me with her Employee of the Month award. And she was so happy and her smile was radiating the entire space. So she's the person I keep on my cover slide everywhere. And the other program that you're seeing on the right-hand side in the lighter background is the program we have with Yamaha, where we are training two-wheeler technicians. And Yamaha also mandates girls to be trained and placed in dealerships. They require girls now. Well, the workplace is now preferring girls because of their diligence, right? So, and frankly, the work that Mr. Bagchi has done with Mr. Raghu and the whole DTT organization is fantastic to see the number of enrollments of women enrollments in ITIs. I'll just take you through a very short video. So this is kind of what inspired our model. A story about this girl, Bhanupriya.
Kaka gori kete jami ache no kaka? Toma kete ekor no? 7 ekor kaka gori. Kaam koraba lagi. Hoi ta gori ta dhan kota hochi to setil lagi.
So that's a very short video. It's a case study that we followed of one of our students. We went to her village. This was in Sukhinda, right, which is a tribal area. And we were trying to understand what are the income making opportunities. Of course, this video is very old. Right? So 60 rupees a day is probably 7, 8 plus years ago. It may have gone up to 80, 90, 100 rupees, but that's still the wage available only during harvest season. So it's not a guaranteed wage through the year. So they have seasonal employment when there is labor needed in the field, right? And I'm sure this is a problem that most of you will be familiar with. But as a university and as a training company, that's the problem that we went about trying to address. So we said when we build a model, it must take into account somebody who's not got even a 10th pass certification and doesn't have any big opportunities for local employment. When I try to break down the problem, there are four key stakeholders in the whole skilling ecosystem. There's the enabler, that's the government. There's the training provider, it's organizations like us, and educational institutions, TVET institutions, the receiver, which is the student, and then the consumer, which is the industry. And all four perspectives are key to address when you go about building a particular model. Starting from the receiver, because the student is the most important stakeholder in all of this, right? It's that individual who needs that skill or a technical qualification to be able to stand up on his or her feet and therefore, pursue a career. If you look at it from a macro perspective, we saw some wonderful individual case studies, but I just wanted to put some numbers out there. This is just food for thought. Our population increase in India, you can see on the top right-hand corner is 15 million, 1.5 crores per year. 93% is the gross enrollment ratio in primary schools as per economic survey data. However, 57% of these youth don't actually attend school and 50% of them will drop out before class 5. Again, a 49 to 50% dropout rate at class 10, class 12. And if you sum up the cumulative dropouts, 14.18 million youths have actually been rejected by the HRD system. And when I say HRD system, it includes ITIs, polytechnics, and institutions of higher education. Where do these people end up? In the agriculture sector, self-employed, unemployed, partially employed, distressed migration into brick kilns, working as unskilled labor in Surat factories, going and joining security jobs which don't require a very high degree of skill, right? Or informally going and working as an apprentice somewhere, right? That's fundamentally the problem with the education system in the country. The organized sector employment is only a 0.82 out of that 15 million. So we were very clear that our model, as we go about scaling it up, should focus especially on those who've been failed by the system at the bottom of the pyramid. People who have dropped out before class 10 also deserve as much attention as much as those who have been able to clear class 10 and class 12. Now, another problem that our students face, right, is the lack of a career path or any mobility in terms of getting a higher salary when they join the workplace. Even if they are able to, so this particular table or graph here shows you and it's a little complicated, so I'll just break it down for you. So blue collar is broadly ITI and below, right? Gray collar is, as you complete a diploma engineering, you can get into supervisory roles, you can become a potentially a slightly more advanced technician, or get into the quality department of a manufacturing company. And white collar is when you get into programming, design, operations, right? You get into, that comes after your BTech. So if you break it down, this is semi-skilled or unskilled, this is skilled and or highly skilled, right? Those would be the wage structures in the industry. The problem is that for the blue collar workers, there is a very little possibility to move up to the higher levels, because they need to go into education. You know, for you to become a programmer, you would need to spend at least 2 years completing an ITI or a diploma qualification, or potentially even a degree qualification. So this mobility is what limits the future prospects of our youth. And that's fundamentally the problem of our education system, because there are a lot of rigidities, right? The rigidities are rigid entry points. You enter in year 1, you have to graduate in year 3 or complete your ITI in 2 years. There is no the credit linkages for short-term skilling. We are also disillusioned by the short-term skilling sector, and I will talk about that a little bit, because it doesn't give you a qualification that would allow you to allow you for any career progression either. So there are a lot of fundamental issues that the skilling ecosystem faces. If you look at it from a governance perspective, who all are involved, and Raghu sir talked about the ITI and the polytechnic ecosystem that comes here. At a Government of India level, it's under Ministry of Skill Development. MHRD also runs initiatives which have largely failed as far as vocational education is concerned, which is through community colleges. So this is the only formal vocational education training system that is working in the country, right? There have been many schemes launched by various ministries. So you talked, Dr. Badal Manthi talked about DDU-GKY. Odisha, incidentally, is #1 in the country in DDU-GKY, right? And they've received that award 3 years running. So that way, the kind of work that has been done both in the formal vocational system of ITIs and polytechnics, and also in terms of rural skilling, Odisha is probably the leading light in the country, right? There are various other ministries which also fund skilling. So there is NULM, which is National Urban Livelihood Mission, which funds the training for urban poor. There is the minorities department. There could be special schemes for scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. There are schemes for agriculture, for textile. Every ministry, almost 22 ministries, were running their own skill development schemes. What the government did back in 2010 was try to build some standardization in the whole ecosystem. And then they created NSDC. And NSDC's mandate was to create standardized course curriculum, because very often you would have DDU-GKY training short-term welders and another scheme somewhere else in the country training welders, right? There was no standardization. So NSDC helped consolidate the short-term skilling ecosystem, right? And put it under one banner. And we are also a partner of NSDC. If you look at it in terms of funding, where does the money come from? These programs tend to be self-funded because these are longer-term courses with some scholarships available. As Mr. Raghu talked about, scholarships are available, but broadly, most of the students would be self-funded. The government schemes are limited to short-term skilling, which are typically 1 to 3 months in nature. And then the industry also has some initiatives, for example, of CSR or running their own institutes. So that was just to give you a broader sense of how the ecosystem in general looks like in India. Now, what are the problems ailing the ecosystem? First and foremost, we believe that short-term skilling is short-changing the aspirations of the youth. While on one hand, the poor cannot afford to spend 2 to 3 years in education, and they need to start earning at the earliest. Very often, you know, they are pushed into these migration linked jobs. But the short-term skilling that we're doing, it doesn't command that premium. The success stories that we see of 20, 30,000 salaries, they are more the exception than the norm, right? Most of the students, and we do that on a very large scale, we train 20,000 youth under DDU-GKY every year, and we place them successfully in Tirupur, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune, and so on. But their entry point is 9,000 rupees, the state minimum wage. And that's where they will be even 2 years down the line. It's only the exceptional youth who's able to make a mark and make a transition to 15, 20, 25,000 rupees, right? The rest of them stay at that semi-skilled wage level. And that's because the short-term skilling certificate has no premium in the industry. Nobody is paying you a higher joining salary because you have a skilling certification. However, if you have an ITI certification, you definitely can command a bit of a premium. And if you have a diploma engineering or a degree, yes, you can command a premium. So that's something that fundamentally ails the short-term skilling space. In terms of higher education, the problem is the rigid entry and exit points, and there's not enough flexibility. And industry seems to be marginal to the whole process. As much as we try to get the industry involved in academia, they're more interested in just meeting their production orders and consuming whatever we are sending out to them. They're not willing to spend the time to come into the education system and work very closely with us. Something interesting that happened in the last few months has been the national education policy. And I won't go through all of them in detail, but a lot of these have been touched upon. And frankly, I mean, to be honest, our president and chairman of Gram Tarang, he's been one of the figures who's looked up to in the skilling ecosystem and the ministry. He has played a key role in some of these changes, right? We've been lobbying at a Government of India level to bring in reform into higher education. And a lot of what we're talking about in the new national education policy is allowing things like bringing in research for action learning, usage of technology, creating credit banks, right? Allowing multiple entry points and multiple exit points. So all of those are being addressed, but right now it's at a very high level, at a policy level. On the ground, it's still going to take time for it to flow through. In terms of our model, how we went about solving this problem, we brought in the 4 key stakeholders, as I talked about earlier, right? The government is absolutely essential for the success of this because they have a reach that we'll never will. If we want to go into Malkangiri or any remote part of Orissa, be it a Raigada, be it West Orissa, wherever our centers are, we have about 25 centers across Orissa, to identify needy youths, and especially those from BPL families. The government networks are much stronger than ours. The trust level is much higher with the government. So when I go with an ORMAS official at a district level or with the BDO or at a Sarpanch level, I'm able to mobilize many more students and they trust us much more. So the government really provides that reach, right, and credibility, but also of course funding, because these are youths who can't afford to spend 20,000-30,000 rupees in a particular program, and they need work. So the government provides funding for short-term skilling as well as a very strong outreach into remote parts of the country. The academia plays a key role because there has to be some rigor in the curriculum, the trainers, the faculties, and something that differentiates our model from others is that we offer a certification which students can carry forward into higher education. So we give them, it may be a 3-month course that they do with us, but we give them 8 credits for that because they fulfilled the hours needed to accumulate those credits. And tomorrow when they want to come back to do a degree with us, the credit can be carried forward. They don't need to redo those 2 subjects or those 2 courses. And that's what really, really works well for this model. Gram Tarang is the social entrepreneurship created, and because universities don't necessarily move at the pace at which industry would like, me and my team's job was primarily first to get the industry involved, right, in program management and delivery. And getting the industry involved means not only in just giving a job to the youth, but more importantly, integrating with them on the curriculum level, setting up labs and workshops where the students can learn hands-on so that they don't feel a disconnect. When they're in the workshop, they should work on the same machine that they will see in the industry. And we can't replicate that unless we have the industry involvement from day one. So it's that integrated ecosystem that has really worked for us. And I talked about how we worked with, we have our ITIs. In fact, 2 of our ITIs were in the top 10 in the country. So it's a proud privilege for us to be part of the ITIs that Raghu sir just talked about. In fact, our ITI in Bhubaneswar was ranked 2 in the country. Short-term skilling ecosystem, we are also doing pretty well now, not only in Orissa, but also in Assam, UP and Jharkhand. Something that we have done in the recent past is work integrated programs. Since 2014, we've gotten into the industry and tried to offer courses for our students to continue their education. And in the last couple of years, we've also seen apprenticeship models emerge, and also looking at some of the more advanced skills like on automation, design, gaming, VR, AR, etc. Just to visually give you a sense of where we are. So you can see our cluster of centers are in the east and northeast, right? With a little bit of presence in UP and Jharkhand, but the jobs are all in the industrial belt. So whether it's Gujarat, whether it's Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, Tirupur, Coimbatore. That's where all the jobs are. This is some images from our campuses and our centers. So this is the Bhubaneswar campus of Centurion University. We also have, in Kyonjar, for example, inside a government school, we've tied up with the school there to set up a lovely small little center there. But one thing we've tried to maintain is ensure that there's a look and feel, and there's a, you should, when you walk into the center, it should create an aspiration in the youth, right? They should feel that, they should not feel that this is blue collar. There is something that they can look forward to and replicate the industry to the extent possible. The second step was to integrate with the industry, and these are our various partners and sectors that we work on: automotive, manufacturing and energy, e-commerce, hospitality and healthcare. And we've brought in the leading industry partners in each of these sectors to help us build curriculum, jointly develop labs and workshops to give that hands-on training, and then eventually also give a job. And yes, training of trainers, very important, right? The industry plays a key role in the TOTs. The third step in our, building our model of making it successful was a community outreach. And the community outreach is not only through, this is the company that I head, which is Gram Tarang Employability Training. We also have other initiatives, and we have a not-for-profit company, which is a little center that we've set up in Kargil Basti in Bhubaneswar. So these various entrepreneurial outreach entities create a field presence, which makes it much easier for us to mobilize. For example, we have a company called Gram Tarang Inclusive Development Services, which does banking correspondence work in unbanked villages, right, across East and Northeast. And these correspondents go door to door with a smart card reader and a device to provide banking services on behalf of public sector banks. And we can then use the same person or the same channel to distribute leaflets and educate people about our program. So it's that ecosystem which comes together to help make the program successful. How do we make it sustainable, right? That's an essential part of it. When I quit my job and I joined two of my professors, we first approached the private sector to get investment and raise funds for setting up these centers. The big challenge you have is that the revenue model in this is a big question mark. Who is actually going to be paying for the courses? 40% of it comes from student fees, right? Whether it's the long-term courses or some of the advanced skills I talked about, like Industry 4.0 courses of VR, AR gaming. But 50% of it, we are still very much reliant on the government, without which, we would never be able to do what we've done so far, which is the 300,000 people that ma'am spoke about. And only 10% of it is the industry. When we had set out, our model was supposed to be 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. That was what we had originally planned. But unfortunately, the way things have panned out, because of the proliferation of government schemes, the industry has retreated back and said, hey, I'm getting free manpower, and therefore I will not spend any money on the skilling, right? And that for us is a big gap in the ecosystem which needs to be addressed, because we can't be dependent on government schemes for the rest of our life. How do we build our course designs and the programs? See, a lot of it depends on the hiring criteria. So what sector do we train in for which category of youth? Depends on the hiring criteria of the industry. So to give you an example, the apparel industry doesn't care about qualification. So apparel and textiles is a big recruiter of school dropouts, right? And some manufacturing jobs as well. Even things like drivers and plumbers, you don't need to have a very high degree of qualification. The skill is more important. But the moment you get into more technical job roles like service technicians, electricians, fitters, then you need potentially either a 10th pass with a short-term course or an ITI. So as you start specializing and going further, you need potentially a degree or a certification somewhere. We also provide training for differently abled, and this program was primarily with support from Mr. Bakchi. This was from 5 years ago, where we train and place brewmasters with Cafe Coffee Day and also sewing machine operators in the industry. And we are not very far from the ITI for differently abled that Raghu sir talked about. Our Jatni campus is right next door. So in fact, we have some of our faculty going there sometimes, and it's quite interesting to see that work there. So we call ourselves a skills university. So what does that really mean? What is a skills university? How is it different from a regular university? So the entire idea of a skills university is to make it inclusive. So not have any rigid entry barriers. If you're 10th, you can come and do a level 1, level 2, level 3 course with us. You can even do an ITI course We have 4 ITIs. You can go on to be an apprentice, go work in the industry. We recognize your learning in the industry. You can come back and continue your education with us, do a diploma with us, go work again, come back again, and then pursue your degree. So every level is 1 year of learning, right? And you give that option for students to have multiple entries and multiple exits with this dream that one day, if you like, you could also get a doctorate or become an entrepreneur yourself. But also at the back end, it's very important to have, we also have, and something that I've not mentioned here, is we have a linkage with NIOS, National Institute of Open Schooling. And the NIOS linkage helps us get those who have not cleared class 10 to clear class 10, and therefore then enter back into the education system, the formal education system. In terms of our overall philosophy, the methodology that we follow, something we believe very strongly in is hands-on learning. So we create a lab or a workplace where they go through 3 levels. Teaching happens in terms of theory. So you understand the theory of what it is that you're going about to do. The training happens in a lab where you apply your learning, but then production is when you get into a real production environment and make things like what you see here, beds, aero engine components, automotive components, or actually uniforms. And we have these these are 8 entities that we've created in our own campuses where students get to work very much hands-on. So the on-the-job learning actually happens in our campus. For example, we have an apparel unit, and this is a live production unit. So we are doing uniforms for Centurion University students. We're doing our own DDU GKY uniforms. We have, in fact, in the last 6 months since lockdown, we've made 5 lakh masks and dispatched them. So each part of the production flow, from cutting, stitching, assembly, inspection, heat treatment, sanitization, packing, and dispatch, each of them is a skill which the industry needs, right? While earlier, if we did not have this production unit, we would only be doing the theoretical learning or just maybe learning how to stitch or sew, which is how most of the SMO programs are. Our campus gives a different experience because the students will actually make products and they'll get to work on different parts of the assembly line. So they're much more ready when they eventually reach the industry. So we've done this. We've made 5 lakh masks and made various PPE equipment over the last 6 months. Likewise, on the manufacturing and advanced engineering side, we have a precision machining lab where we are doing aero engine component production for automotive products and aero engine components for HAL. And these are some of the samples that you see of the output of the students. In the automotive, we have a partnership with Ashok Leyland, Yamaha. This is the CCD lab that we've set up, which is trained and placed 2,500 youth with Cafe Coffee Day. Healthcare is a new area, an emerging area. We're still trying to find our feet in healthcare because the short-term courses are only GDA, which is General Duty Assistant, whereas all of these other courses, medical lab technician, optometry, X-ray technician, OT technician, anesthesia, they require a longer duration. They require 1 to 2 years. You can't really make somebody, you can't put somebody in charge of an X-ray machine having trained them only for 3 months, right? So that would be wrong. And they can actually cause a lot of damage. So you have to be careful about what job roles you do. General duty assistant, who's a ward boy, is fine, but that's, you can't really do that for all the job roles. So you have to be a little careful as to what courses you pick for short-term and long-term skilling. I talked about a program for differently abled, and that's come up really well. And we have a little e-rickshaw unit on our campus as well, which is registered under Startup Odisha, in fact, incubated there. And this is our initiative in our Basti. So a lot of the entrepreneurship creation happens through, through these various small initiatives we have. Something that I didn't touch upon, I wanted to talk about was, when we talk about training, you think it's only mobilization, training, and placement. But actually, if you break it down meticulously, there are 10 steps to the process. I won't go through it step by step, but I'll just talk about some of the things which are essential. For example, the pre-placement counseling and the post-placement migration and support, right? Those are essential in getting the youth, because they're coming from a remote rural part of Odisha, right? They're coming into a lovely campus where they're, in this structured environment, learning, practicing, going through 8-hour rigorous, curriculum. But when they go into the industry, that'll be a completely different, ball game, because the pressure of the workplace is much harder. You have to go through 8-hour shifts. you'll have pressure on production. So helping them cope with that, right? Giving them the life skills which are essential. That's a very important part of the curriculum as well. But it doesn't end here. So we have about 25 people, either in Bangalore, Tirupur, Chennai, Pune, or in Delhi, whose entire job is to make sure that they receive the students. So putting them on the train, for example, every batch will be accompanied by one of our trainers or counselors, and they will be put on a train, and then somebody will be there to receive them, and we'll even arrange for accommodation for them at the other end. And that's a very, very important part of the model, because without that model, the whole thing doesn't work. It doesn't come together. I'm just going to quickly go through the last few slides that I have here. This is our Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, because we also believe that it's not only jobs which the youth want. Many youths, especially those who are now tech savvy, they are able to use Facebook, Instagram, social media, YouTube much better than us. And they're able to start taking products and market them, right? So we've created a Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which has given opportunities. We've created these entrepreneurships, for example, in food processing, bread making, dairy. And it's not only papad and buddy, but we cut across things like mushrooms as well. We've also done quite a few programs in the agriculture sector. And that agriculture sector training has been, our School of Agriculture Sciences in Parlakamundi, we worked very closely with them to train 70,000 farmers over the last couple of years. And what did we train them in? We trained them in courses which would, it's actually not, it's not a course. It's something which would help them enhance their income. So it was a project that was focused on, the concept was created by Professor D.N. Rao, who's of course, got tremendous development sector experience, which was, can we look at farm as an enterprise and farmer as an entrepreneur? And if you want to contribute to doubling farmer income goal of Government of India, what is it that we can add to the farmer's activities in where he is or where she is? And these are the job roles we picked. So we picked things like mushroom, vegetables, organic farming, vermicompost, floriculture, etc., which actually helps them enhance their income. And we did this training through our NGO partners all over the state. It was supposed to be 1 lakh farmers, but I think the ministry has now, funds have dried up, and they kind of put a hold of the project at 70,000. But we saw tremendous impact on the field of this particular project. So these are just some images of how we went about doing the training. Our faculty we have 80 plus PhD faculty in our School of Agriculture Sciences. They went out into the field along with students. So the students got involved, 4th year BSc students, and it's had a tremendous impact on the field, and some really, really good success stories. This is a lady who was working in a brick kiln in Hyderabad, and now she doesn't need to migrate during off season, and she stays back in her village and makes and sells mushrooms. So a couple of really good success stories on mushrooms, on flowers, etc. I'm not going to go through all of them because I realize that I've already gone beyond my time slot. I'm going to end with just this one thought, because when we put a student into the workplace, I'm ending with the same photograph of the girl that I started with. And she had completed her class 12 and done a short-term skilling certification with us. Now, how can we help students like her to move up their career paths? And that's something that we are really very, in a very concerted way, we are trying to work on, which is helping a team member in a cafe go on to become a brewmaster, to become a cafe manager, ultimately assistant cafe manager and a cafe manager. Can we create career paths? So in the case of Cafe Coffee Day, that was the career path that I showed. In the case of manufacturing, it would be 10th to ITI to diploma, apprentice to diploma to potentially a BVOC degree. And that's something that the team, especially in the last 6 months, because obviously all of us had to go online. So we've worked on very, very actively, and we've created our learning portal. The learning portal is something that allows students, after they've completed an 8-hour shift in the workplace, to come back home to their hostels and continue their education with us. So this is an app-based learning program, and they can enroll for a higher education course with Centurion University. And because of our approval for online learning now that we are NAC A grade, we're able to offer this across the country as well. And that facilitates or helps the student with getting that next level of qualification. So this is something that's new, and we've just put in a lot of effort over the last 6 months in getting this app and platform off the ground. I won't again go into too much details because this will require, so there are two kinds of learnings that happen here: synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous is when you live stream classes, and asynchronous is when you log on to YouTube and you access content that we've developed, right? And you can self-learn as well. So that in a nutshell is some of the new things that that we are working on. I'm again not going to talk too much about this. The impact has been great. Ma'am has spoken about it already. What I'll end with is just potentially just a short 15-second video. Right. Sorry, I realized that it went on a bit longer. So apologies for that. And I'll end the presentation. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abhinav Badan. Wonderfully, very elaborately narrated this outcome-based skill development, and a lot of impressive PowerPoint presentations. In fact, one didn't know so many things are there. Thank you very much. Now we'll get to the question and answer session, ladies and gentlemen. Badri sir, can you just take it on?
Yes. There are no questions right now. Any questions, gentlemen?
Sir, namaskar.
Okay.
I'm Tapas Panigrai from Barampur, sir.
Tapas.
Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sir, this is a question to Madan, sir. And I'm a chartered accountant by profession and I'm a Rotarian from Barampur. I have a very, thank you for a nice deliberation indeed. I have a very petty, very simple question for you, sir. How can, as a Rotarian, how can I or we as Rotarians or the organization Rotary can be associated with your organization or vice versa?
So no, and that's a that's a really good question because it's very relevant for the audience here. I think Raghu sir talked about it. There are a lot of government schemes available out there, right? Which is, at no cost, students can benefit from it, which they're not aware of. It's, even I'm surprised to hear that there are so many ITI seats going vacant when the government is offering scholarships for them. And I can assure you that in today's age, what again Raghu sir talked about in a very, in a very humble manner, the fact that our placement record of ITIs is probably 3 times better than the placement record of engineering colleges and higher education institutions. The MBA colleges of whether it's Orissa or other parts of the country, apart from the Ivy League, right, the top colleges, provide salaries of 10, 12,000, if at all. Most of them are sales jobs which have more variable and less fixed. I can assure you that if you're an ITI graduate, right, or a polytechnic graduate, you can choose whether you want to go to Bangalore, Coimbatore, Pune, any part of Pune, Manesar, Nimrana, because there are jobs for ITI and graduates in polytechnics. So my advice to anyone, whether it's my cook here or whether it's an Uber driver that I'm sitting with, whenever I ask them, what is your, how old is your child? What are they doing? And the moment they say class 10, I'm like, what are you doing for them in the future? They're like, no, I don't know. My first advice to them is just put them in an ITI, because that will ensure that they have a qualification which will give them a job, right? And once you have a job and you start earning, then I always recommend that you continue your education. So if you've done an ITI, come back, do a diploma, come back, do a degree, save money, work towards your future. So my first suggestion is always to refer them to the nearest government ITI or a private ITI. Preference is for government ITIs because private ITIs suffer in terms of quality. Of course, there are exceptions like ours, right, which we do a very good job of it, but there are not too many of them. Now, so a bit of mass, getting this message to the people is something that I believe that you can all really help with, right? Apart from
Sir,
ITI, next level comes to the DDU-GKY programs. Right? These are also programs which are free of cost for people, right? And they don't have to spend a rupee. I can proudly go to any part of Orissa at any point of time, and if I see a needy youth, somebody who's sitting idle, right, at home in the village, I can proudly tell them that, look, no matter where you are, what you are, you come to my DDU-GKY center or any DDU-GKY center and you will get a job, because the jobs are there. It's just that people don't know. So it's spreading the message is where you can really, really help.
Sir, can I have a second question?
Sure.
Sir, what you told, your suggestions have been for the younger lots, for the middle-aged persons, like those who have crossed 30 years, 40 years of age, they can't join ITIs and all. So can, for example, in Barampur, we have hired some business class people who will be imparting training on as to how to make, pickles and papads, buddy, etc., etc. So can you guide us through as to how can we take your help in this? We want to amplify the impact. So how can you be of any help to us?
So again, that's a fairly important and very pertinent question, especially for the policymakers today, because the policy for people in general, especially of our Ministry of Skill Development, see, it's a Ministry of Skill Development, MSDE, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. Unfortunately, they've only focused on the skilling part, and entrepreneurship is quite ignored. And that's the reality of it. And especially for those who have passed the age of 30, who are not eligible for many of these jobs, you're absolutely right. Not only training, the factories where we place youth, right? They do not want somebody who's 40 years old. So there we have to focus on entrepreneurship and self-employment and employment creation, right? Now, the areas that we found, see, we've struggled with it, to be honest with you. We've tried many programs and we've never been able to successfully scale up anything other than in the agriculture sector, right? When we worked with farmers and when we worked with them in their own fields, right? That's when we've been able to actually make an impact where we help enhance their income through first helping them, educating them about their own farming practices, and then helping them add something to their farm, right? It could be a vegetable, it could be flowers, it could be paddy, it could be animal husbandry, fisheries, for example. Fisheries are, it's a tremendous opportunity. I know Andhra is far ahead, even poultry and fishery, Andhra is far ahead of Orissa. And it's just about, because of these small entrepreneurs, right? They take the same piece of land, they make a big fish pond out of it, and they're able to generate much more income. So there could be programs that we organize. And I think here government needs to do more, right? Something that we could work in partnership with potentially DTET and ITIs, where we train people on these entrepreneurial possibilities, and then handhold them, link them with loans, because Startup Odisha does offer loans. Startup Odisha has an incubation program. So we have to help, Startup Odisha or Startup India is not only about technology and, having apps and, those kind of things. It's also about going back to the farmland. So I believe linking the schemes and technology with the farmers will be a really good area to focus on.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. I have one more question, but I think others have.
Okay. Thank you, First Mr. Tapas. Thank you for your question.
Can I ask one question?
Yeah, yes, sir, please.
To Mr. Raghu. Is he here?
Yeah, sure, sir. Yeah, please.
Raghuji, just I wanted to know that you told that for any course in ITI, it is 10th plus or 12th pass, plus 2. But in the NEP, it says that the new NEP policy says that after sixth class also you can take vocational training, which has become a must. So in that sphere, what is your preparation for that? How do you react to that? When after sixth class, the student will go for the vocational training, how well prepared your ITIs and polytechnics are?
Yeah, thank you for that question. It's a very important question again. So I'd just like to correct one part from my earlier presentation. In ITIs, in addition to 10th pass, we also take students who are 8th pass, 10th fail also. Like students can go on to do courses in wireman, sheet metal making, welding, 1 year courses duration. Even students who haven't passed 10th, a simple 8 pass student can also take up such courses and successfully graduate from an ITI. So that is just a bit of a correction from my earlier presentation. Responding to your question regarding the NEP. So what has the Government of India done? The Government of India is now thinking about a policy wherein we link up the ITIs with the schools. This is a hub and spoke model wherein the school, a particular ITI is there, schools in and around the ITI will be linked with that particular schools. So the children from 8th standard onwards, not from 6th standard actually, from the 8th standard onwards will move to the ITI weekly once or weekly for classes, and the rest and the classes will be done at the school level also, so that they get a kind of an exposure to the ITI curriculum. And after 10th, if they want to pursue a course in the ITI, they are free to do that. If they want to continue with their +2 courses, even there they can complete the rest of the module and gain a certification from the TVET system, from the NCVET. So this kind of a planning is being considered by Government of India. It is in the pipeline. I am sure that in the next year or so, we will see greater integration between schools and these vocational institutions like the ITIs. Thank you.
The next year is for all three of you who will take care of the adult illiterates. Who, as per the norm, anybody who above 15 up to 35 or 40, 45, now it has been open to no age limit, upper age limit is not there. And most of the last segment of the Indian population are illiterates. So what all the three, all of you, I want to know, what is there any model or module for incorporate them and making them functional literate, which is also a skill upgradation?
I think Mr. Badal Mohanty and Mr. Abhinav Madan would be more competent to take that because they have courses including the recognition of prior learning. I think they can come in and.
Yes, sir. Actually, not for functional literacy. We have for career progression. We have the option. Those who have came from less than 10th year, 10th, just 10th, 12th, we have discussion and going to execute MOU with the National Institute of Open University, and so that these people will, these candidates, those are on job during the evening hour, they will learn. Already this model already we have adapted in Thirupur one. We have on a quantum.
Badalo, I want to know whether any scheme is there or you can do something who are absolutely illiterate, even they are 50, 45, 50, 55, 60. Is there any scheme which are absolutely illiterate, and can they be given any support, any put in any profession or such?
No, no, sir. For absolutely illiterate, we do not have anything, sir. It may be in the education department. We do not have anything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I have a question for Dr. Badal. You see, we Rotarians, we mean for the welfare of the society, and sometimes when we visit the schools or villages, different projects, so unemployment being the order of the day, mostly. So we have a question as to how to get into it. So at that point in time, can we have some of the representative at the block level, whatever, who can, on request, can accompany us and then brief the forum there, the school boys or the villagers?
Thank you, sir. Yes, we have provisions, sir. Sir, at block, out of 314 blocks, we have in 71 blocks, we have skill development coordinator. SDC, they are there, sir. And in 160 blocks, we have block project manager, BPMs are there, and also some are block library coordinators are there. And at the GP level, we have CRP's community resource persons are there. They will coordinate with this institute when, sir, your our esteemed Rotarians are going there, sir. They will facilitate. And every in quarter, we are conducting the counseling camps at GP level and block level. They can be tie up there. And also, if there is facilities that we have some small videos, we can show this in these schools and also send them through their WhatsApp to show, motivate their parents, and also the training centers and the employers at the factory what is going on, so that they will be get motivated. We have, sir, facilities, no problem, sir. If any program is going on from Rotarian side, sir, we will definitely help, sir. No problem, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Are there any questions?
Yes, I wanted to ask a question to Mr. Abhinav Madan. I am Rotarian Anjani Sahai from Jamshedpur West. Mr. Madan, what are the training facilities that are available in Jharkhand?
So there is a mission called Jharkhand Skill Development Mission, right? Under that, we have also created a very nice facility in Ranchi. Of course, with the COVID crisis, we've been struggling with getting that center off the ground. Also, the skill mission itself was not adequately funded. So a lot of the training that we've done in the past, we've actually had to, withdraw some of the programs and scale them down. But Jamshedpur has been a great place for us for doing training also. So there's an ITI in Burma Mines where we actually tied up with the ITI to run programs with support from the National Urban Livelihood Mission. And the jobs are also, a lot of jobs are there locally in Jamshedpur. So there is a small ecosystem present. DDU GKY also has a program and that is done through the, just as ORMAS is the nodal agency here, there it would be JSRLPS, so the State Rural Livelihood Promotion Society, and they will have empaneled PIAs or project implementing agencies who will have centers. So I'm sure if you just connect with either JSDM or JSRLPS, you'll be able to get a list of all the active centers in Ranchi or in Jharkhand in general. And we have a center in Ranchi as well, but of course right now everything is closed.
Can you share your email address so that I can contact you later also?
So I'm just posting it on the chat with everyone.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Anybody more? Yes.
I
yes,
got
sir.
a question.
Yeah.
Mr. Raghu. Mr. Raghu, this is General Mohanty. Narayan Mohanty. My question is, I belong to rural sector, Koraput. I have seen quite a lot of rural youth, both boys and girls. Empty number of them are unemployed, not getting any job. Even the industrial houses are also not taking care of that which is required. Now tell me the present available IITs, number one, or any other thing which is possible to get them and awareness program to these boys and girls of rural sector to bring them to the IIT, giving them proper training. What kind of awareness program you are doing it? Number one. Number two, how much, since they are very poor in they can't afford to the training, how much we can get them all and give them the training so that they will be employed. This is a very big question now in Koraput, so Kalahandi, all these things are happening, and most of the youth are unemployed and being involved in quite a lot of other activities rather than their self-employment.
Yes, sir. So in Koraput, we have 5 ITIs, one in Ambaguda, one in Lakshmipur, one in Kotangi, one coming up in Nandapur, and one in Korpat. So we have 4 communal and one is coming in Nandapur. So what we have been doing in Kalahandi, we have one in Bhavanipatna, only one. So what we have been doing in terms of counseling for the students is in the tribal schools, the HSC Development Department schools, and in the SNM, School and Master Education Department schools, we bring all these students to our ITIs, to visit the ITIs and the polytechnics. The visit is organized free of cost. The only thing is that we get in touch with the school principals to send their 9th standard students, both boys and girls, to come and visit the ITIs and the polytechnics, so they have a feel of what the machines are, what kind of schools are being run. So this is a very popular program, and we also send our trainers to the school to take classes on technical subjects to increase the appetite of the students towards technical training. So this has paid off very well in the last 2 years. Many of our catchment area is actually these tribal development schools as well as the school and mass education schools in the mostly in the tribal areas. So this is what we have been doing. Besides that, we have a close partnership with the district administration, including the TA, ITDA, the DWO, the district education officer, and district employment officer, who work closely to motivate the students. It's like catching them young. Once they are in the 8th or the 9th standard, we expose them to these kind of options so that it will always be figuring in their mind. Nowadays, we have also started parent-teacher meetings online. So students in the 10th standard, they know smartphone usage and all. Our teachers do a parent-teacher counseling so that we can ask the students to come and join our ideas. This is the first part. And the second part of your question, I think you are referring to the financial cost.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Raghu. I think thank you very much for having all questions. The question and answer session gets over. Now I will request past President Dr. Lata Madam to kindly take on the summary and the concluding remarks.
Thank you very much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. At the outset, on behalf of Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Metro, I express our sincere thanks and gratitude to all the resource persons for taking out their treasurable time and share their experiences on skill development. Mr. Raghu, Dr. Mahanti, and Mr. Abhinav Madan, your presentations have unquestionably made this webinar more ecstatic, meaningful, and remarkable. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have heard such thought-provoking demonstrations from our speakers today, all of whom are having immense knowledge and experience in implementing skill development programs. There are many takeaways from their presentation. However, I would like to give a synoptic view of what we listened from them so far. 3 elements are absolutely critical in any project. One is the blueprint or the framework that are in line with policies and guidelines. Then comes the policy process of implementation, and finally the outcome. In this webinar, the contents of presentation have exactly fitted all these aspects in an elaborate manner. There is a famous saying, which I quote, "Doesn't assure employment, but skilling does." So all 3 speakers have addressed this very successfully, eloquently. To begin with, Mr. Raghu focused on the goal, namely the long-term skill development of youth. All the polytechnics and ITIs have contributed substantially towards vocational training. Now, sustained campaign is being undertaken to bring them back to limelight. He spoke about the branding exercise, the facilities, including the infrastructure and other facilities that are available, even in the remote area, and more so for the girls. He highlighted upon the programs that are designed exclusively for the differently able students. What was more impressed was the innovative activities carried out during the COVID times. We are all very proud to know that out of 100 top institutions in the country, 11 institutes from Odisha appear in the list. It is a big leap in the challenge of skilling Orissa. Then Dr. Badal Mahanti spoke at length about DDU GKY, that is the process of mobilization and counseling. The objective he mentioned was to change the mindset and to implement programs that are linked to placement. He also showed the visual pictures about the classroom practical training sites where they are based and so on. We were quite impressed to learn how trained students are sent out not only to the other parts of India, but outside India as well. And he narrated cases of some candidates who are doing successful in their jobs. And we had heard a few of them narrating their own successful stories. Moving on to Mr. Abhinav Madan. He spoke about how Gram Tarang is incubated at Centurion University and how Gram Tarang is addressing the challenges that led to them developing its own model for skill development. He spoke at length about integrating industry, academia, government, and social entrepreneurship while imparting both short-term and long-term skilling. He addressed the question how we can create an ecosystem for youth to dream and aspire. He mentioned elaborately about the relationship that exists among the enabler, provider, receiver, and the consumer. He highlighted the receiver side who have dark future prospects. He mentioned about high dropout rates among the students who are left with absolutely no qualification or skills and lack of horizontal, vertical mobility. Then he moved on to enlisting the key challenges that are not addressed by the existing system. How these issues are given place in the national education policy was another aspect which was mentioned. Finally, he gave a detailed account of how integration happens among industry, academia, and social entrepreneurship. Abhinav laid a lot of emphasis on hands-on learning, which was extremely impressive. Ladies and gentlemen, let us give a big round of applause for all the key speakers who have had immense knowledge and experience to share with us. Our appreciations to all of them. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for a very well and detailed coverage and summarized the whole proceedings. Now, may I request Dr. Gopal to kindly offer a bouquet, virtual bouquet, to all of them. Firstly, to our chief guest this morning, our Rotary District Governor, Sri Soumyaranjan Mishra. Dr. Gopal, please. Okay. This also goes to our keynote speakers, Mr. G. Regu, the Director of the Technical Education Training of the Government, Dr. Badal Mahanti, and also to Mr. Avinav Madan. This bouquet also goes to Mr. Shivabrata Das, to the Chair RILM of our Rotary District. Thank you very much. Now I'll request Captain Vijay Sao, a Vice President, to touch upon the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am privileged to deliver the vote of thanks to this today. Though the pandemic has caused us all to be in virtual mode, it is still heartening to note the large participation in this webinar on a subject close to all our hearts. This is a subject which is the need of the hour, considering the adverse effect of the pandemic on our economy and considering the clarion call given by our Prime Minister to be Atmanirbhar. Therefore, Rotary Club of Bhubaneswar Metro, first of all, I would like to thank our Chief Guest, District Governor Rotarian Soumyaranjan Mishra, for sparing the time from his busy schedule to attend this webinar. Sir, your presence here is a great encouragement to all of us, and it motivates us to scale greater heights in the service to humanity through Rotary. We are sure you shall always be there to spur us on in our efforts and to guide us through thick and thin. Thank you, sir. I would also like to thank all the district governors and past district governors of our district, as well as from other districts, who have graced this occasion despite their busy schedule. Now I would like to thank all our speakers, Mr. G. Regu, Mr. Badal Mahanti, and Mr. Avinav Madan, for also sparing their valuable time to enlighten us on this subject. I thank them for their lucid and well-articulated talks on this subject, which I'm sure our participants have well appreciated. I once again thank you, sirs, for having accepted our invitations and for enhancing our knowledge on this subject of skill development. I would like to thank all our honored guests and Rotarians who have logged in onto this webinar today and have made it a meaningful seminar. Last but not the least, I'll be remiss in my duty if I did not mention the organizers. I sincerely thank the organizers and support staff of this webinar for making this seminar a success. I also thank the media for attending and covering this Rotary event. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, before I go in for the adjournment, I once again must thank all the keynote speakers for a wonderful and very well informative, educative talk that we had today. And it's very well received by all the participants. Thank you very much. This webinar stands adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much.